Bonjour, bienvenue, welcome to...
You're speaking French with a Russian accent. I don't understand.
It's a mixture. A mixture.
Yeah, we're global, so it has to mix.
Yeah, we're global. Anyway, welcome to Breakfast Central. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Africans. And good morning to our viewers from outside of Nigeria, talking about the continent at large. This is Breakfast Central, and my name is Joe Hansen.
And I'm being Gabo. It's the last Monday in the month of July.
Are you sure about that?
Month.
Our special month.
Yeah, I think so.
I think, yes, it is. No, there's one more Monday.
There's one more Monday.
26
People
is
that have
Saturday,
special
27
Mondays,
Sunday,
you know.
28 is Monday, 29 Tuesday.
Almost.
Next week Wednesday is your birthday. Happy birthday in
Happy
advance.
birthday. And your birthday is this Sunday.
Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yes.
I wish it was a Friday, so we could
We'll
shut
now go
down.
to TGI.
I mean, Breakfast Central, 3 hours on your biography.
On Friday.
Nigerians, we want to tell you welcome as we move straight to our stories.
Let me introduce myself now.
Okay, all right. So you guys
First
are
of all,
ready.
I want to give a shout out to Benny for this amazing coffee.
Yeah, Benny,
It's
thanks.
blessed
Thanks
you.
for always,
It's so rich.
thanks for always hooking us up with
Thank you,
coffee.
Benny.
You're
Thank
the
you so
man.
much.
I mean, beyond
Amen.
coffee, he does.
He's a wonderful man.
Is a gentleman.
And now, before the rest of our team behind the scenes will get jealous, shout out to the rest of our team. Thank you for
mentioned
just
their
giving us
names.
the energy to start the show.
Shout out to
No need
Olakumi.
for their names. Let
you know.
them, don't let them get
Shout out
inside.
to Amazing. You know,
Thank you so
we
much.
miss you. Yeah.
But let's not give shout out to Mayor Kwan, Mayor
who's that?
name.
One
What
time,
club does he
yeah,
play for? What football club?
Gadus.
Oh, okay.
Okay, welcome to Breakfast Central. My name is Olive MOD. We hope that you've had a great weekend. It's been quite an eventful weekend, not just for some of us in our real lives, but in the political scene, there's been a lot of, like they will say on social media, aura for aura, buzzwords that's been happening in Edo State, in the UK, lots and lots of buzzwords, and those are what we're going to be analyzing this morning. So do we start from Nigeria, or do we go?
Charity begins at home. Let's start from the ancient kingdom of Benin, Edo State.
He said, okay.
So what's the gist of
Edo State has been buzzing with news about the governor threatening His Excellency Peter Obi and saying that he should not come to Edo State, and if he comes to Edo State, he will not guarantee his safety. Quick backstory.
If I looked at you saying this, I would say, nah, it's not possible.
It's AI.
It's AI.
Or it's rumor, fake
So
news.
it's better for our viewers to see it with their own eyes and ears. Oh, you see with your eyes and hear it with your ears.
All right, so see it, then I'll come back and give you the backstory, and then we can take some reactions.
The man will say no gashishi. I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, he will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody will say, no, Gashishi, why get 15 million to donate to people? By the time he left, there was crisis. 3 people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me.
Immediate reaction that comes to mind is a social media challenge. After saying this, they're supposed to cue music by Shagun Johnson, President General, Ogala. Well, that's the
That's
song
on
that comes to
TikTok,
mind.
right?
Yeah, on
I'm not
TikTok.
familiar with it.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, I only do Instagram.
Oh, wow. So that's something. So when they say, after he says things like this, maybe TikTok people will say, you know what we will do now? We go, go meet Igwe, we'll give him an award. Yes, yes. And people are really dinosaurs. Anyway, a quick backstory. Peter Obi had visited Edo State, he visited Philomena Nursing School, which again caused another outrage because he had given 15 million naira. We talked about it here on Breakfast Central, the reactions to that. You could see the videos of them making comparison between the warm reception and the triumphant entry of Peter Obi into Edo State, and doing the comparison with the time that the First Lady had visited the nursing school in Delta State. In this case, they had started to chant their songs and even write the lyrics of Nawa Papa Bidis. So there was just a lot of mixed reactions. Those who argued that it was eye service, others who said Peter Obi has always had a heart for the nursing students, and saying that if you are thinking of, what course to explore, you probably should explore nursing, because Peter Obi would definitely through his support. So,
but before we react, I want us to take everything. Let's also listen to the Edo State Chairman of APC, his reactions to this incident, or to the comments of the governor.
Since morning when the primaries were going on, there has been a lot of criticism all over the press about the statement that Governor made yesterday when he was receiving one of the remaining of PDP Edo Central, where he said that Peter Obi has to take permission before he starts. And I think the governor was right in saying that, because we are also saying that the governor can say that because of the kind of hatred that people have for Peter Obi in the state, including me. And when you have people, so many of us that have such hatred for people like that, especially when they came to Edo State and people died, it is proper for him to tell the governor before he will come, so that people like us will be sent on errand out of Edo before he can come and possibly go. I'm sure that's the reason why the governor made that statement. Is that why I think the governor made that statement, and it's correct, and we support him in whatever he says. So whatever.
You see, this is where we have a problem, and we must call it out because things are starting to get awry. And why we're going to say so is because, one, who you see there is the APC chairman in Edo State, Jarrett Tinebe. He made that statement in such clear terms that Mr. Peter Obi is hated by people in Edo State, and he also did not single himself out. He also agreed that they hate him.
Well, did he say hated by people in Edo State?
Yes.
It was a bit new for me. I was struggling to hear. Because one I heard was him say, this is why I hate people like this, or something like that.
No, he said it more than once, so he knew what he was saying.
We just played it, and that's exactly what he said. Not just that, he didn't say this in closed doors. He came out in the open, as you can see there, which is available to even us as members of the press, where he made that strong statement. My worry is, what kind of politics are we playing now? Are we playing politics that is starting to lead towards what we see as a clear indication of bloodbath? Whatever will happen, let it happen. Let's go as far as ensuring that we expose ourselves and go head to head, like we're even ready to die, as it were, because that's a statement. And not forgetting to, we've not spoken about the governor who also made that statement on stage. I want to say that maybe while he made that statement, he didn't think through it carefully until later, because there was a statement that came from him after that entire rally or whatever it is, where he said that's not what he meant. He simply meant that as the #1 security officer of the state, if Mr. Peter Obi is coming, he needs to ensure that he protects him. But how does that align? You say you want to protect Mr. Peter Obi, right? But you're on stage and saying that anything where he see, make it take. Whatever he sees, he should take. You also come at the same time and say that after he donated, in which I think they didn't like the fact that he came to donate money in their own state.
That's why there's
and then when he left, that 3 persons dead. There is a clear indication that death of 3 persons never happened.
Well, I don't know if it happened. I can't say if it happened or if it didn't happen. My issue is, what is the correlation between the 3 people that died and Peter Obi's visit? What's the link?
At some point, they said that because he gave money, people were scrambling for money, so there was a stampede.
No, he didn't give the money. He didn't give cash.
No. So I think that it's important that leaders, public office holders, politicians understand the weight of responsibility that they carry with the utterances that they make. Hate whoever you hate. We don't really care. But when you come out in public, you owe the people a duty of care to not incite or make insightful statements. That statement can be adjudged to be an insightful statement. It reminds me of what happened in April when Peter Obi was meant to visit Benue State, and Governor Hassan Talaya said the same thing, that he's not welcome into Benue State. He should take permission. When last time I checked, Nigeria, we can move. I can decide today that I want to go to any country. There's freedom of movement. You stating that someone shouldn't come to your state is infringing on their fundamental human right. You're infringing on their right to freedom of movement. You cannot decide who comes and who doesn't come to your state. When the last time I checked, we didn't need a visa to move across different parts of Nigeria. Peter Obi can decide to go wherever in the country he wants to go to because he is Nigerian and because he does not need a visa. I think that statement was made in bad taste and a poor representation of the Edo people, who interestingly have come out on social media to criticize this and dissociate themselves from that hateful statement. But let's go on X and take some of the reactions to this. Our first tweet is, this one says, Peter Obi should not come to Edo without his permission, as his security will not be guaranteed. Let me say this as clearly and as respectfully as possible. Who gave you that authority, sir? Your threats are not only laughable, they are unconstitutional, anti-democratic, and reveal the dangerous mindset of those who rose to power not through the ballots of the people, but through the machinery of electoral manipulation. This is exactly what happens when elections are rigged. Instead of leaders, we get emperors. Instead of public servants, we get public threats. Instead of governors, we get gangsterism. Mr. Peter Obi is a citizen of Nigeria. God bless this person. He owes no governor permission to move freely within his country, especially not when his visit is to support the health and education of our young people. Things you should have been doing as governor. If anything, you should have welcomed him, applauded him, and maybe even taken notes. But when you are installed by the wheel of crookedness instead of the will of the people, the presence of true leaders will always feel like a threat, because light makes darkness uncomfortable. Let me also warn, and I say this with all sense of responsibility, that no governor, no matter how desperate, must think they can silence or intimidate Nigerians. That era is gone. You cannot threaten a nation awake. Mr. Peter Obi represents hope for millions of Nigerians who are tired of politics without conscience. Any attempt to harass, restrict, or vilify him is an attack not just on him, but on our democracy, and we will resist it. Edo is not under siege. Edo is not under a dictator. Edo is part of the Sovereign Republic of Nigeria, and Mr. Peter Obi or any Nigerian has every right to go there and support progress. To Governor Okpebholo, I say, you were selected to serve, not to back threats at citizens. Nigeria belongs to all of us, not just to those who found their way to office by the manipulation of INEC or the might of godfathers. Nigeria must rise, and we will. That is from Dr. Moses Paul, a.k.a. Dr. Mo, the chairmanship candidate, Africa Democratic Congress, ADC.
Fantastic write-up. This is from a former NBA president, Olumide Akpata. It says, when I first saw the video clip of Governor Monday Okpebholo threatening Mr. Peter Obi not to enter Edo State without his permission, I genuinely thought it was fake, perhaps one of those AI-generated videos or poorly written skits. But it's now clear that it wasn't fake. The governor hasn't denied it. No spokesperson has disowned it, and it's been reported in credible news platforms. So we must assume it was real, and that's deeply troubling. Edo people are known for being warm, open, and hospitable.
I agree.
We welcome visitors. We don't chase them away. Much less someone like Mr. Obi, who came to make a modest, generous contribution by donating 15 million naira to an education institution in our state. Let's be clear, Mr. Peter Obi does not need anyone's permission to visit Edo State or any state for that matter. Not now, not ever. Perhaps Governor Okpebholo should focus more on governing in a way that earns him that kind of love and connection that Peter Obi enjoys amongst the people, the way Mr. Obi has consistently done through his exemplary leadership. That this ill-judged threat came on the eve of Mr. Obi's birthday, a day obedience across the country are marking the occasion by giving back through acts of service, only highlights the governor's poor sense of judgment and timing. On that note, happy 64th birthday to Mr. Peter Obi, a man whose leadership inspires millions and whose presence in Edo State would always be welcome, regardless of the threats from those who see your impact as a challenge to their own inadequacies.
What's his birthday on, I believe, on Friday.
Former governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Edo State.
Anyway, Bubakar Vuti says, was it not the same Peter Obi who, during his time as governor, once said that Nasser El-Rufai had no right to be in Anambra as it was not in Katsina? He's asking the question. Well, we have to dig up that and ensure that we have that conversation as well. And Stephen Osewinge, to all Nigerians, please note that the two people have nothing to do with this insanity against a peaceful man like Peter Obi. This is all APC 2027 rhetorics. If we think he is speaking from his personal opinion, then we are missing the point. What you heard was well, we can't say if it was, he's calling the president drawing the line in the sand with threat of violence against Peter Obi, whom they correctly see as a political threat against the regime in 2027. The battle line is drawn. Benue State tried it successfully without pushback, and now APC states are saying no free entry for Peter Obi in their states, not for charity, not for humanitarian, not for politics or religious reasons. The ball is on the court of the opposition now. What will we do about the vulgar threat against Peter Obi? Are we serious about challenging a drug mafia for political power and so on and so forth? It goes on. But then again, just to highlight, Mr. Sawinge, the president didn't speak. It was the governor who spoke, so we wouldn't want to pass a bulk of blame to anyone. Roderick Mountain, if Okpebholo can spell, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'd like to just give my 2 cents. I'd like to give my 2 cents on this issue. To whom much is given, much is expected. I mean, the governor is the chief executive of the state. You expect him to act and speak in a very responsible manner, and what he did on that podium was, it leaves much to be desired. Having said that, also the APC chairman in Edo State that used the words "we hate" and "hatred." You should know that we're in a very sensitive country and things can go south at any given point. So let's be thoughtful in the use of our words and be very deliberate in the use of our words. And I think the context of Mr. Peter Obi saying we don't give shishi is in terms of voter inducement, like, you know, vote buying. That's what it meant by we don't give shishi. It doesn't mean it's not going to donate towards humanitarian causes or causes that need attention. So I believe that was taken out of context. And let's stop being this is pedestrian with our politics. Let's talk issues and leave personalities out of it. Let there be healthy competition in terms of service delivery and what have you, not this, you know, motor park gutter.
Let me also use this medium to sincerely speak to the hearts of those who are running the affairs of a country as huge, gigantic, prosperous, and great as Nigeria. That they need to go back to Rwanda, 1994, from April 9 all the way to July, the Rwandan War, where the genocide started. It was simply the word hate. So maybe Mr. Tinebe needs to go and read it to understand that when you incite people and use words like, we hate you,
he needs to watch
we hate this tribe, we hate these people, we can clearly state it here to the APC chairman. When the war starts, you will equally not be spared. And nobody prays for that. Because you see, the thing about inciting people to violence is that you also have family members whom the bullet will also hit. It will. You may run away unscathed, but then again, one person in your family, or even if care is not taken, every single person will be affected. So let's take some time to possibly go through the Rwandan genocide. And I think to all the politicians who are drumming the beat of violence, hatred, tribal wars, you might want to take time to watch a documentary on that.
2 movies, highly recommended. A Time in November and Hotel Rwanda.
That's it. Yeah. Watch the movies. This is just our advice.
I think they don't know.
If anyone is watching, Olive, they need a reminder. I agree that when you have power, that's why they say absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Because when you have power, you don't think beyond what you see there. And one thing that also makes me worry is that you could just be there for 4 years.
And then you also have a retinue of sycophants that won't really tell you the truth.
That's not a problem.
That will be scared of criticizing you or telling you.
And I just wanted to make reference. There was one of the tweets there that said Obi had done the same thing to Nasir El-Rufai in Katsina. I saw the video where Nasir El-Rufai had accused Peter Obi, where he said that it's not the same Obi that detained him in Anambra for 48 hours to restrict him from attending the by-elections at the time. But I mean, there were reports again that Obi had denied saying that he never detained him, that he wasn't the one who directed or didn't have the authority then to direct the security officials. I mean, there was just a lot of mix-up in that situation, but there was also, I did read up there that it was the SSS or so that was involved in that case. But whether or not A did it or B did it or A was involved, the truth is no Nigerian should be restricted. And when we start to play politics with the lives of Nigerians, we're really treading on very, very dangerous waters. The students in Philomena Nursing School are more than grateful for the 15 million because it would definitely make a world of difference in how their business is being run. And if Edo State government is upset with that, maybe they should go and gift some other students of nursing in Anambra
State. Fix infrastructure in the state.
Thank
Let's
you.
be doing competition.
I was going to do something here this morning when I saw the story. I did get some messages from some people who live in Edo State, and they said, sadly, the roads are deplorable. The roads are bad. The roads are completely in shambles.
And the priorities, sadly, the priorities. The chairman and the people that sat beside him, their face caps had 2027 is guaranteed. 2027 is possible. You haven't fixed the issues in your backyard. In Edo State, you're looking at securing Edo State for the national.
No, they will not say, they can never say 2027 is possible because people.
Instead of let's fix Edo State before 2027, let's deal with the issues that concern Edo State before 2027.
About security,
electing the president,
food. But now all you focus on. But I was going to ask a question just before we move. Finally, please, just briefly. If you were the governor, how would you have handled that situation? I think sometimes we should also make suggestions.
Come and apologize. Say that your statement
and while you were on
was made
stage and they told you, Mr. Peter Obi donated 15 million.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Peter Obi, for contributing. We appreciate your contributions. You both don't have to be in the same political party for you to see that somebody is doing well.
But if he says that, they might get angry.
Wait, or if you don't want to appreciate, keep quiet and look away. Don't say anything about it. If you don't have anything positive to say, then keep quiet. You don't have to make a comment.
You can't quote silence.
You don't have to make a comment about it.
I mean, I will take a different approach. I'll thank him for his contribution towards the development of Edo State, and I'll make sure we don't leave any loopholes for them to embarrass us with kindness.
Or if you want to do them back, you to go and visit his own state. And yes, he's not the governor of Anambra State, but he was once a governor in Anambra State. Exactly. Let's be doing competition, giving competition.
Yes.
Please, let's move away from this drama in Edo State. The people of Edo State have said that they're very peaceful, loving, welcoming, and they're not in support of this.
They actually are.
And the Nigerian Constitution also guarantees freedom of movement and association.
So after this, we're going to pack our load and go to Edo State to present tomorrow's show. But another person who seems to be having an issue with Nigerians this time, it's not. So when we are complaining about inter-state or inter-tribal differences, this time around is inter-country differences by someone who originally should be one of us. Her name is Kemi Badenoch, and she's talked about how her children cannot get Nigerian citizenship because of the drama, and she said as a result of the stiffness with which it takes for her children to get the Nigerian citizenship, or whatever issues in that regard, the Britons, England should make it a lot harder for Nigerians to get their citizenship. Wow. Maybe I'm misquoting her. I don't know. Let's take a look at this.
Let's listen to her.
The laws that we have. Other countries that are Muslim, they don't tolerate this sort of stuff. They don't tolerate this sort of stuff. And I talk about how we are allowing our tolerance to be exploited. We have people pretending, for instance, to be homosexual so that they can claim asylum, and then they go on to get married and have children. They're abusing the laws that we have. We have people who go through false conversions. They come to the parish priest, they're very excited. Oh, these Muslims want to convert to Christianity. They convert so that they can claim asylum and say, if I went back to my country, I'd be persecuted. This is exploitation of a system that was not designed for this sort of thing. We have to be honest about that. Nigerians would not tolerate that. That's not something that, that many countries would accept. There are many people who come to our country, to the UK, who do things that would not be acceptable in their countries. It's virtually impossible, for example, to get Nigerian citizenship. I had that citizenship by virtue of my parents. I can't give it to my children because I'm a woman. Yet loads of Nigerians come to the UK, stay for a relatively brief period of time, acquire British citizenship. We need to stop being naive, and that's why under my leadership, we now have policies to make it a lot harder to just get British citizenship. It's been too easy. It's basically a conveyor belt. We want people who have who want to come to our country to be net contributors, not people who will immigrate and then need welfare, need social housing. That's not right because they haven't paid into the system. So there is a lot that I'm changing on policy that is suitable for the times we of mass travel, before mobile phones, before small boat crossings. There's just the global mass migration which we're seeing that's very destabilizing. They didn't have that in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s. We need rules that work for today.
I wonder why Kemi always makes reference to Nigeria. I guess it's the country of the birth of our parents, so it's understandable. But anytime she references Nigeria, it's always for negative news. I understand the type of politics she's playing, but I think it's high time she stops, especially when the information being passed is false. It's blatantly false that if you are married as a female in Nigeria, you can't pass on citizenship for child. I mean, my sister is an example. She's married to a German citizen, and her son also has Nigerian citizenship, and that's false. So, but where the problem is that as a female, you cannot pass on citizenship rights to your husband. For example, if I got married to a foreigner, my foreign wife will be a Nigerian citizen by virtue of marriage. Females in Nigeria can't do that.
And that's the one thing that we criticize, because we think that is very unfair and discriminatory against women. If a man can be able to transfer citizenship to his wife, a woman should be able to transfer Nigerian citizenship to her husband. And that is a very, very unacceptable area in our constitution. But that's a conversation that we'll come back to. Back to this one. I think at this point, we need to ask Kemi Badenoch, she said Nigerian police stole her shoe, because I wanted to ask, who stole your sweets? At this point, just really let Nigeria be. It feels like every time she has to speak about the country, it's always just the negative stuff, negative news, Nigerians exploiting, Nigerians doing this and that. Nigerians are not the only ones that have, quote unquote, taken advantage of the immigration laws in the UK. There are other countries. Focus on them. Give Nigerians a break. There are Nigerians who are breaking their back, working to improve the quality of their lives. And even the Nigerians in the UK, there are lots of Nigerians who are there legally. They're contributing their best to the economy of the UK, giving their talent, that's why we have the global talent visa.
And there are more of them than the illegal ones than the negative ones.
There's a whole Nigerian community in the
academia,
UK.
in medicine, in care, they contribute a lot to the British economy. Just last week, the mayor of London was in Nigeria, and he highlighted the positive things.
Yes, I saw when he came into Nigeria.
That's from a third-generation Indian that was saying all these beautiful things about Nigeria. And your parents are the only British, and then you moved there when you were even a young adult. And for you to say all these things, one time you could excuse it, twice you could excuse it, but it's becoming a reoccurring.
At this point, she's realized, I may be wrong, but it feels to me like she's enjoying it feels like some sort of taunting, and she's enjoying the press that this brings. I remember the first time she spoke up, in a way, I was just like, everybody should leave her. She has the right to her statements. She has the right to her position. We had a conversation about it. And I said, well, some of the things she said aren't lies. But at this point, it's become too repetitive. It's become very disrespectful to Nigerians. They are great, hardworking, smart, intelligent Nigerians in the country and outside the country who are contributing to the economy of the UK. Nigeria and the United Kingdom have a wonderful bilateral relationship that I think that at this point, all this unnecessary attempt to just really paint the whole country with a bad brush, it's really looking tacky at this point, and she needs to rest.
She's a leader of the Conservative Party. If she's left to her, she will ban Nigerians from.
But that's what she's actually mentioning. She's saying that
not visiting is her issue. Visiting isn't really her problem. It's the fact that they can. She doesn't want Nigerians to get British citizenship.
After she got citizenship, she kicked the ladder.
As typical, number of people do.
Crabs in the barrel mentality.
I mean, while looking at that interview with Fareed of CNN, I would pick some points she made, which I think are valid reasons, but she shouldn't have gone further.
Have mentioned Nigeria.
So, for instance, she did mention that you do have some people come from other countries into the UK citing or claiming asylum, some stating that, oh, because
it's not a Nigerian thing. Everybody does it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She started well. There's some of Muslims, and they tell you, oh, because I became a Christian, so I'm my life, after my life. Then she said some who claim to be, in quotes, gay, when they aren't really gay. They come just to get in and get the sympathy and also enjoy the benefits. And then because it doesn't take long, the British will therefore ensure that you become a citizen.
To work on the system and
so that's fine.
Investigate.
Yeah. So you get the point. That's what she was supposed to say, that at the end of the day, we're going to look at tightening, the system, ensure that nobody just comes in and makes rhetorical statements or seek, help and so on. But the aspect was when she now maneuvered and then now came to Nigeria, which is what she always does. But I must use this medium to also tell the Nigerians in the diaspora, I like what a few persons are doing online, where they are highlighting some of the beautiful things
I was
Nigerians
about to
are
say
doing.
that. Thank you very much.
I've stumbled on their pages. I love it, and I wish we could do more. But concerning Kemi, I think the Nigerians in the UK should start getting ready to counter anytime she says these things.
Not even waiting for her to
don't wait for
say
her.
these things to counter.
These things
I think we
out
need to start highlighting, because for every one Nigerian that is acting out of order or maybe trying to step out of bounds, there are over 100 Nigerians who are contributing to the system, working hard and making their money. There's people that they're not cutting their taxes. They are contributing to the health sector. There are medical doctors, Nigerian doctors, who are working there in the health system and giving their best. So I think it's time. Nigerian storytellers in the UK, please start to highlight the stories. Let them see the Nigerians that are making us proud, and that there's a whole number of us, and we're not to be defined by the few bad eggs that exist everywhere, by the way, because she's acting like there aren't people who are cutting corners in the UK as well. Like there are the way they're
there are no UK citizens that are badly behaved outside the UK.
That's what I'm saying. Badly people exist everywhere. Badly behaved people exist in Nigeria, in the UK, in India, in Iraq, in America. There are badly behaved people everywhere. You pick them, highlight them, deal with them, and please stop generalizing as a nation. We'll go on a break, but before that, let's quickly share with you what our top stories this morning are on Breakfast Central. Power players eye presidential ticket ahead of 2027. Chikun Ikara Kajuru residents in Kaduna urge bandits to keep to agreement. SDB suspended chair, others shun investigative panel as disciplinary report is submitted. The newspaper front pages form a core part of the show much later this morning. Stay tuned for all these and more. The governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, has come under intense criticism over remarks many deemed threatening to the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. The controversy began when Senator Okpebholo last Friday, in his address at a rally, warned that Obi must never come to Edo without obtaining security clearance from him, because the presidential hopeful's last visit coincided with a resurgence of violence in the state.
The cabinet spoke while receiving the last opposition federal lawmaker in the state, Marcus Onobun, into the All Progressive Congress, APC. The state member, the governor, received lots of backlash from various groups who described the governor's statement as unconstitutional and dangerous for a governor to attempt to restrict the fundamental rights or issue threats to a former governor and presidential candidate.
Well, that's not all. Don't forget, too, that the APC chairman in Edo State, Jared Tinebe, also in a press conference did mention that he does not in any way support the fact that the former Anambra State governor should come to the state, using the word which many have found to be very critical as hate. But let's not spend so much time. Let's quickly bring in someone to discuss this with us, a member of the All Progressives Congress APC and one who was fully involved during the entire stretch of the political campaign, not forgetting to the elections, and one who has continued to celebrate the victory of the APC in Edo State. We do have Mr. Andrew Mwata, who is also a lawyer and one who definitely we can count on to break down what really took place in Edo State. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Anson. And Olive, it's a pleasure to be here this morning. And good morning to our viewers at home.
Great, great. I'm sure you saw the video, and I'm sure you are aware what we're discussing, especially looking at what took place just a few days ago. Can you shed more light on what we are hearing currently? We do also hear that the governor said he did not mean it that way when he said that Mr. Peter Obi should not come into the state without an express approval from him. And we've also seen the APC chairman there, Mr. Jarrett Enebe, speaking very, very strongly about hate. How do we juxtapose these two?
Can you kindly unmute your device, sir? We can't hear you.
Mr. Nwata, I think you might have to unmute your device and go over your answer again, please. We need you to unmute so we can get to hear you clearly.
Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay, what I said is that I'm the special advisor to the Edo State governor on legal matters. And I want to limit my intervention to what the governor of Edo State said at a rally to receive the only member PDP had in the National Assembly, Honorable Marcus Honorable, and other members of the PDP into our great party, the APC. And that rally took place in Urumi in Edo Central. The governor, of course, made reference to the fact that, Obi recently visited Edo State and Benin City precisely. Of course, he went there for, an event in the nursing school. He also had a couple of political activities. I can speak from my own personal experience. We were at the airport to see off some of our party people, governors from the South on that particular Sunday at the airport. And at some point, we now noticed that Mr. Obi came in, and I was with some former National Assembly members who were formerly members of his political party, and I think one or two of them told me he was trying to woo them at the airport. So the impression I got at that time was that he was here for a political meeting. It was later we heard he went to a nursing school where he made some donations. And what the governor simply said at that rally is that for you to come into my state as a governor, you are a politically exposed person, you are a high-profile politician. Courtesy demands that you inform me that you are coming into the city because of your security and safety. The governor is the chief security officer of the state. And even when you look at the law is very clear. Section 1 of the Public Order Act gives the governor such powers that if you are coming to hold certain processions or meetings in the state, you must first of all get a permit. The law specifically says something like a license. You make a request, and of course that request will be approved. Then you can now go ahead to have your meeting or whatever it is that you want to do in the particular state. It is not the Edo State House of Assembly that made that law, but the National Assembly far back in 1979. And coming back to the issue, I don't think people should take this thing out of context. There's nothing wrong. Even those two instances where it would be like, there was one in Plateau. He sought the permission, or he wrote to the governor of Plateau State, and he was allowed to visit an ID camp. In the case of Benue, he said he reached out to the governor through his ADC, but I think within that 3-day span, there was a communication break. So eventually, when he was on his way, they now told him you don't have to come because of the security tension in the state. So on those two occasions, he did not communicate with the governors of those two states. He didn't even find the courtesy to inform the Edo State government that he was coming into Benin. And when he comes around like that, he comes with crowds. So for us, it was just a simple security advisory, and I think nothing more than that.
Okay, if I might please ask our production team to play the video. We want to take a look at the video again, and also for our viewers to have a look at the video, and then we'll come back to the conversation.
The man will say no gashishi. I am sending a direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, He will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody was saying, no, guys, she went get 15 million to donate to people. By the time he left, there was crisis. 3 people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me.
So, I mean, you've seen the video. Nigerians have seen this video. It sounds more, I mean, many will argue from the reactions we're seeing on social media that it sounded more like a threat than making reference to what you've said about there being a law that, you know, mandates that they inform if they're coming for political reasons, that they inform the governor of the state. That video, many would argue, sounds more like a threat because it's saying, I can never guarantee your safety, or we can never guarantee your security if you come to Edo State. How do you explain that?
Thank you. It's standard practice and part of official protocol. If you being the 2023 presidential candidate of the party, and of course your party lost, and you are one of the opposition leaders that is found of always attacking government. Remember when, you know, we had our Edo elections, even after the Court of Appeal gave his decision, Mr. Obi have expressed very strong reservations about the victory of our governor. And he's an opposition figure. His party, much as his party did not win a single ward out of the 192 wards in the last governorship election in Edo State, he's still an opposition figure. His party is in deep crisis. Remember, even the national chairman of his party was molested physically in Benin. And it was his own faction that was responsible for that. So the political crisis within his party can result in anything. Just as the governor noted, the day he visited, we had about 3 court killings. So if you had informed the governor, we knew the exact place you were, then that way we can know that, yes, it was not in this part, because it's a matter of courtesy. When he went to Benue, he requested, and even much as the governor did not grant that request, but in the case of Edo, he didn't even inform anybody. Imagine him coming into a place where you have all APC supporters, with his supporters there. That is what the governor was trying to avoid. And the governor simply says, when you are coming into our town or our state, inform us. Is that too hard to ask? Because yes, can the governor guarantee security or safety when he has not informed me formally that he's coming to Benin City? Remember just recently, a candidate of the PDP in the Anambra governorship election was shot. I mean, that is a clear case of informing the security, operatives in that place, or informing the governor as the chief security officer, so that your security can be guaranteed. All
right, if I may interrupt, because I know you quoted a law earlier that was passed by the National Assembly. You said, I'm not sure which law it is. I can't seem to.
Public Order Act.
Okay, I believe
1979.
I believe that the Public Order Act 1979 is subject to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which provides that in Section 41, any citizen of Nigeria is guaranteed the right to move freely within any place in Nigeria. Would you say it supersedes the Constitution? Mr. Peter Obi is a Nigerian citizen, and he has the right to go to any state. What is order of practice? If you may please allow me land, I'll appreciate if you may please allow me land. Mr. Peter Obi is a citizen of Nigeria. And are you saying that he does not have the right to move around freely and go to any state that he wants to go to, in the country? Is that what we're saying?
No, I think only that's where you get it wrong. Our fundamental rights are guaranteed by the Constitution, but that does not mean because you have the right to freedom of movement, you just walk into the presidential villa or that zone that is restricted.
No, he did not go to a restricted zone. We're talking of visiting a state. Okay, please go ahead.
No, if you allow me to land,
please go
because
ahead.
Every state in Nigeria has a chief security officer, and that is why the Public Order Act allows for certain things that should be done. Just as I was about to say before you interrupted me, the Public Order Act has been subjected to judicial interpretation. In the case of Inspector General of Police and AMPP, what the court said, the Court of Appeal said in that particular case, is to the effect that it is police permits by the police that is restricted, that you cannot now make the police as it were, so powerful that without their permit, certain things cannot be done. But it has nothing to do with the governor of a state, as the Court of Appeal said there. Section 1 provides clearly the role of a governor as a chief security officer to grant permits to certain activities, particularly when there are meetings in public places. What Obi came for was a meeting in a public place, and he interacted with politicians. I told you the experience we had at the airport. So the governor is simply saying, when you are coming to Benin City, just as you did with Plateau and in Benue, inform me that you are coming, so that your own security will be guaranteed. It's simple.
Thank you, Honorable Nwatad. I would like us
Somebody
to...
that is entitled to the full security of maybe a governor. He does not have those kind of security privileges. When he came that day, I can tell you for free, I didn't see him with any single police.
Okay, thank you, Honorable.
It's there, he should deny it. He should also deny if, he refused to inform the Edo State government that he was coming. Did he inform us? When he was going to Plateau, he informed them. When he was going to Benue, he informed them. So why is Benin City an exception?
Okay, moving away from the comments of the governor, let's talk about the APC chairman in Edo State. He did make what people have termed very inciting and dangerous comments on the person of Mr. Peter Obi. Let's take a listen, and then I'll come back to you.
All over the press about the statement that Governor made yesterday when he was receiving one of the remaining of PDP Edo Central, where he said that Peter Obi has to take permission before he starts. And I think the governor was right in saying that, because we are also saying that the governor can say that because of the kind of hatred that people have for Peter Obi in the state, including me. And when you have people, so many of us that have such hatred for people like that, especially when they came to Edo State and people died, it is proper for him to tell the governor before he will come, so that people like us will be sent on errand out of Edo before he can come and possibly go. I'm sure that's the reason why the governor made that statement. Is that why I think the governor made that statement, and it's correct, and we support him in whatever he's saying. So whatever anybody is saying, they're just saying rubbish. And I also want to send a message to people who call themselves ADC in this state, that they should be very careful, because we only have PDP remaining, not ADC. So if you want to identify with ADC, you have to leave Edo for us. That is my message to all of them.
Honorable Nwatad, that's the Edo State APC chairman, Jarrett Tenebe. He did make a couple of comments there, but I want to ask you directly, do the people of Edo State hate Mr. Peter Obi?
I think the APC chairman expressed a personal opinion. He spoke about himself that he does not. Of course, I cannot speak for him. I started by saying that I'm the special advisor to the governor on legal matters, and I can only comment on what the governor said, because that's what I have full information of, and that's what I think I was more or less, invited to speak on. It's very clear that it was what the governor said I'm reacting to. So what the APC chairman said is his personal opinion.
But what do you make of such a rhetoric, looking at our political climate in Nigeria? Do you endorse that sort of language?
I said it's his personal opinion.
We agree that it's his personal opinion, but do you agree that it's an insightful opinion?
He said it does, and again, it's a political statement. He said he does not like his person, and that, for him to come into the state, I think the part where he said for him to come into the state, he should inform the governor, I think I agree with that.
Mr. Nwatad, I beg to disagree. I beg to disagree, Mr. Nwatad. I beg to disagree, because the truth is, if the roles were reversed, and it was maybe the Labour Party or the People's Democratic Party that had used strong words and talked about your governor, Governor Okpebholo, being hated by the people of Edo State. Hate is such a strong word and such a strong language. He says that that those statements were made because of the hatred the people of Edo State have for Peter Obi, including him. Those words are clearly insightful. You can agree that they are insightful. It's okay for you to be a member of the APC and see that the APC has done something wrong and call it for what it is. Or the person in the APC.
Just as I said, it's his personal opinion, and I think you have described it as such, and I insist that it's his personal opinion. Because I think what we are looking at clearly is what the governor said, and that was what he was reacting to.
All right.
Just when I'm expressing the opinions I've expressed, I don't have any problem with Peter Obi. He was the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023. I mean, he came all out campaigning, and I don't have anything to say apart from saying if he's coming to Edo State as the governor has advised, he should inform the governor of the
state. All right, so let's move on from that and now look at the future. So if Peter Obi is coming to Edo State and he doesn't inform the governor, or even if he informs the governor, you know, what are the next steps? Is Peter Obi banned from coming to Edo State? And if he doesn't inform the governor?
There's nothing like ban.
Okay.
Nobody has banned him. Just, you know, if there was a ban, I think he did something similar to El-Rufai. I think it was in 2013, yes, when El-Rufai, came for was to come for a particular activity in Anambra State when Peter Obi was governor. El-Rufai complained that for 48 hours he was detained on the instructions of the governor, and Peter Obi at that time was the governor. The governor of Edo State does not intend to do that, but what he's simply saying, for you to come to Benin City or anywhere in Edo State, please, we know you are coming at times for humanitarian activities, which has political undertone. Like, when I noticed that, he was canvassing for support, of people who left his party. And of course, when he was in Benin, he did series of meetings, political meetings. And we don't want a situation where there's tension in our state. So just inform us, we will ensure that there's security. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
Okay, just to mention, I mean, that's 2013 reference you've made. Peter Obi had clarified that. I know there's an article, even on the Daily Trust, where he clearly said, it was sometime in October, he did clarify that he never did detain him and that there was a mix-up somewhere. Just to mention that he clearly stated that he didn't detain him. And now,
his words against El-Rufai's own. It is his words against El-Rufai's own, and it is what we have in the public domain I've just spoken to, because he always puts up a defense,
Okay.
Again, what about Plateau and Benue, right? He wrote to the various governors of those states, informed them. In the case of Plateau, you heard Benue, when he raised that alarm that he has been trying to reach the governor, but through the ADC, he reached him and he didn't get any feedback. But did he make any attempts to reach the governor of those states?
Okay,
so what the governor is simply saying, please inform me next time when you're coming to Benin City.
Okay, Mr. Nwata, although the reviews we've gotten is that we like the way you put it when you said, please inform me next time. And many have thought, even communications expert, of which you are a communications, you were a communications person at some point in your portfolio. You do understand the use of words and how weighty they can be. Hence why we've also referred to the last video you saw where a member of your party, as a matter of fact, one who actually holds a very important position, has said that the people hate, and including himself. We think that word in context, hate, is a very strong word. And that's why we've also referred to the Rwandan war, if you remember, the genocide, where hate was therefore a word that led to so many things which we think as politicians. And as one who actually works closely with the politicians, and maybe using the law, these ones should actually be called and possibly thought on how communication is very key to the peace and the livelihood of the people of Edo State and also Nigerians at large. But let's move away from that. Let's focus on the calls from the people of Edo State. We've seen the governor pulling some strides, trying to ensure that the people get the dividends of democracy. But there is also a big worry. There's this canvassing for 2027 already going on. And I'm sure you also know what the law says concerning elections. Is this not breaking the law by starting to campaign right before the campaign window is opened?
2 years before.
Yeah.
Governor is doing what the law does not permit him to do, because the APC stakeholders in the South came around city, Benin City, for a political meeting. And I don't think it's different from what the people in the ADC have been doing. They've been having political activities. So if people in a particular party express positive support for the leader of the party, which in this case is the president, and saying that they think he should be allowed to get the ticket of the party, there's nothing wrong with that. Even in the US, you have endorsements, even a year before the elections, you have endorsements, and even there's a conversation in the US whether there's, if there's going to be a possible amendment of the Constitution to allow Trump to have an extra term. But will you call that political campaigns? It cannot be, campaigns when it is just people expressing what they feel or think about the president, the person of the president. And I think our governor is very clear. He's saying 2027 is possible for Asiwaju. And there's nothing wrong. The law does not prohibit you from doing that.
Okay, I mean, as we wrap up, final question would be your reactions to Peter Obi giving 15 million to Philomena Nursing School. Does the state appreciate it?
When he said during the campaigns we don't give shishi, I mean that's an antithesis. For you to say you don't give shishi, then you publicly donate. The idea is not the fact that you gave, but doing it so publicly. I mean, you are trying to get attention. You are trying to be seen. Like I saw him in one video where he was selling foods, and I mean, it's just an attention seeker. That's what I'll say.
Mr. Nwata, don't you think the give shishi in Mr. Peter Obi's context meant vote buying? It doesn't mean he wouldn't engage in philanthropic acts.
Be rest assured that those nursing students he has been reaching out to in Benue Plateau, he will still go back there for votes. So if that's vote buying, it is for Nigerians to decide when that time comes.
Thank you so much.
To ask them to vote for him.
I mean, what would be a great thing would be that maybe we see you and Governor Okpebholo maybe go to Anambra State and give some nursing students there. So it's aura for aura. We're seeing at the end of the day, the Nigerian students will be the ones that will be better for it. Honorable Nwata, thank you for joining.
There are nursing students in Edo State that need that money, and I think the government will prefer to use that to fix our nursing schools as it's doing. And there are many nursing schools that are under constructions in Edo State. I think that's the best way. Not in just doling out cash, but in ensuring that they have good infrastructure and their lecturers are well paid, as the government is currently doing in Edo State.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. And just to clarify, Peter Obi had also clarified the video about sharing food and said that it was an event that was put together by Reverend Father, where people at the higher end of society were often made to serve, just demonstrating what Jesus would have done in the Bible, serving the people who he is supposedly higher than. If that makes sense, and put some rest to that theory. But thank you, Honorable Nwata, for joining us this morning. It's always a delight to have you.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
All right, let's...
Well, very heated conversations, and thank you very much to those who are engaging with us on YouTube. We can see a number of reactions on YouTube to this conversation with Peter Obi. Ocho D says, Obi doesn't need the police because he's loved. Then he says another line that I unfortunately cannot read. Chukwuemeka Camara says, what a country. He says, Nigeria is gone. APC, what did Nigeria do to deserve this? That's Chukwuemeka Camara. The other comments, Ochodi still says, Mr. Lawyer, you go explain Taya. Anyway, thank you very much for all the YouTube engagements. Keep the comments coming. Now let's share with you what's coming up next on Breakfast Central. Coming up next on Breakfast Central, ADC power players eye presidential ticket ahead of 2027. Several national monuments remain uncompleted following years of neglect and wasted funds. Senate warns suspended senator against planned Tuesday resumption to National Assembly, says court ruling was advisory. Stay tuned.
Thanks for staying with us here on Breakfast Central. Let's quickly stir the political pot, of course, bubbling within Nigeria's newly energized coalition, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, a party now caught in a whirlwind of influence, ambition, and let's just say many presidential aspirations. Well, behind the scenes, deep pockets negotiations are clashing with grassroots loyalty.
That's right. The ADC, previously seen as a third force underdog, has recently attracted heavyweight political personalities, including one particularly dominant voice, allegedly vying for the presidential ticket.
The question now is, will ADC hold together under the weight of power plays from prominent figures, or will the party head for fragmentation before 2027 even begins, if not properly managed? Join us for this discussion as chairman of the African Democratic Congress in Lagos State, Mr. George Ashiru, and Director of Communications at Lagos Chapter, Madam Mabel Obo. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. I'd like to start with Mr. Ashiru with us in the studio. We've seen the former Vice President just last week tender his resignation letter from the People's Democratic Party, and I want to ask you if he's officially joined the fold of the ADC, and are you expecting him to join if he hasn't?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The folks in the forefront of this idea of a coalition, those who have already gathered themselves together in the early part of July to identify with the coalition and the African Democratic Congress ADC as the bride in the political world. So every individual also knows the Constitution, and they have to go and fulfill the constitutional method for being involved, part of which is you must resign from your political party that you currently represent, and then you must go to your ward of the ADC and register at the ward. And some may have already done so, but they are waiting for the unveiling. Nobody just wants to go and say, I've joined. Not at that level. They are going to go and do the right, the needful at their states, and then when it's time for them to make the public declaration, you will see a huge fanfare all over the place. And I think it's part of the strategy, overall strategy, just to keep sure that, to make sure that everybody knows that we're part of this and it's going to be coming in sequence. So very clearly, he's made it very clear. He's shown himself to be involved, and due to everybody else you saw on that day.
Are you open to everyone joining your party?
That is why it's coalition. It's a group of all Nigerians. There is, and there will never be a discrimination as long as you have not violated the Constitution of Nigeria. You are not a convict. Anybody who feels that they adhere with the ideology of what we stand for as ADC and have chosen us, then that means they have seen what they believe is,
even with the unwritten, the gentlemanly zoning formula.
You will never know if it was written or unwritten. We are the ones that are going to announce it to the world when the time is right.
All right, let's bring Mabel into the conversation. Mr. Ashiru here has talked about the Constitution, saying that everyone is welcome so long as they're not flouting the Constitution and they're aware of the ideology of the ADC. What is the ideology of the ADC, and are there concerns that maybe there'll be a fraction of the several different ideologies that are coming together to form one huge coalition?
Is that an answer for me? Is it a question for me?
Did you get the question?
No, I didn't get that question.
Okay, I was asking about the ideology of the ADC. What is the ideology of the ADC? And are there concerns about possibility of future fragmentation, seeing as there are different people from different political parties with different ideologies coming together under one big coalition?
Well, to begin with, ADC ideology is very, very clear. What we are, we're a party that believes in the people. So, we're the People's Party. We put the people first, all the way from the grassroots to the top. Yes, there are people that are going to be coming with different ideologies, knowing that we have various political parties in Nigeria. But this is a coalition, and we are putting a mechanism on ground, where everybody has to abide by the rules, and the regulation, and of the way to run things. In other words, while we have the people at the forefront, we also are going to have the people, the bureaucracy of the party, the management, so on. So things are going to be clear. At the very beginning, obviously, it's going to be overwhelming, the way it is overwhelming for in the country at the moment because everyone wants to join ADC. So when we talk about ideology, it's very, very simple. We want to put the people first. We're a government that is concerned about the welfare, a political party that's concerned about the welfare of the people. So anyone that is joining ADC at this very particular time knows the problem in the country, and it's just the aim, what do we want to achieve. And at the moment, I can guarantee you that we're all speaking with the same voice. All Nigerians, not just the top political players, the ordinary man, the people, down there, the people that cannot, afford, 1 square meal a day. We're not even talking about 3 now. We want the same thing. We want to take Nigeria back. So the whole big idea of ideology, yes, even in a home, people believe in different things. But for now, without actually, working too hard, ADC is speaking the same voice, using the same voice as the man on the street.
All right. Thank you very much, for highlighting that.
Yeah.
It is the party that is putting the people first from the grassroots level all the way to the top. And I want to bring that same question back into the studio here to Mr. Shiru. And, to talk about, we often hear these things about political parties seeming to understand what they're about and having their ideologies set. But we cannot deny the fact that there's a possibility. Now everything will look rosy, but there's a possibility that somebody will disagree. There will be some form of fragmentation. Almost every major political party in Nigeria now has internal crisis. How does the ADC intend to navigate that? What mechanisms are being put in place to forestall that or to be able to tackle that when it happens?
One of the things I have done as a chairman of the state, and let me speak for my own states, is lots of groups that we already, that are coming in, are people we have known. We've known each other in the political field. We've interacted in different fora, including the one that New Central organized. So everybody already knows what ADC stands for. I've been on your studio, many studios for over the past 2 years, explaining what we stand for. And as people are coming in, they already have an idea. In fact, they refer to me as a professional in politics, or what's the other phrase? A corporate politician. Because what we are looking for is this: the future of Nigeria, the image of the future of Nigeria, and the standards that we want are the things we already seen on TV in other nations. And we have them well articulated in the statement of purpose. So when you join, the first thing you get is the statement of purpose and the constitution. What does that tell you? This is how we want to run things. So when the big wigs come, we tell them we are big too. We just happen to be in a tiny, beautiful enclave called ADC. But we are big in terms of ideas. We are big in terms of character, the capacity to deliver. Each of us, we all have individual capacities that we have brought in. We just choose a party that is willing to think of the people first, rather than the ones that are sharing power. So that's why we came to ADC. If we all wanted power and to be commissioners and ministers, we would have gone to the ruling parties. We choose a party because we think this is what this party is really talking about, the people for a change. Now, what has happened is that it is that language they heard that made them come to us. It's that language all of these people heard and said, okay, we choose your party because you appear to represent the sort of ideas. You see, corporate culture starts from the top. So if the culture in all these parties you're seeing that everybody's complaining about is because at the time these parties were created, the idea was, let's grab power. Now, we have not been in power, so we've had 19 years to perfect our craft. We've had 19 years since 2006 to decide what we stand for, and we've built it, and we're sitting in that same place without worrying about people coming into us and changing us because we've had a whole generation.
But people argue that that's what the coalition is for, to grab power.
The coalition is to provide a credible alternative. You have to keep remembering what we stand for. A one-man shake across the country and a credible alternative. That's the motto of the party. Credible meaning we are providing the credibility of the political process that will deliver to people precisely the kind of governance they're looking for. So if it is just to grab power, then what you are going to find is that one person will simply come and take over the party and use it to grab power. But when you bring different people together, it neutralizes each other.
But there's also worry that there are too many chefs, too many cooks, and like they usually say, of course, it's going to spoil the food.
Oh, there will be.
However, who is going to be the front man? It's
No,
the
you
question
cannot.
everyone is
That's
asking.
the
That's one. I'll leave you to who's going to be the front man.
Yes.
Two, we've seen someone in charge of communications in terms of the national. We've seen that. We've not seen the presidential candidate, which tracks back to my first question. The other aspect people are also talking about is what is it that ADC has accepted that the SDP denied? Are you sure this would not in any way ruin the ADC at the end of the day?
So let me go to this idea of high presidential candidate. We don't run things like that in ADC. We don't anoint people ahead. We have a primary process, which is still at about almost a year to go. And people are going to put their hands in the gauntlets, and the delegates will choose who will be their various candidates. Presidency, governorship, Senate, House of Reps, down to the state houses of assembly. So there is no such thing as anointed candidate. It's going to be everybody put your hands on the plow. So let us even remove that idea. Now, the difference now is it's going to be a keen competition between people who have the same desire to make Nigeria better. Now, yes, you are going to have this experience of different, groupings within the party who have supported or who are supporting one particular candidate, and that's what democracy is all about. That's exactly what we call multi-plural democracy. If we practice it within, we can practice it without. Then the second issue you're talking about is whether SDP was not accepted. I really don't know SDP as a party. What I do know is this. Our party has always preached collaboration and coalition. Always, for years. 2017, we were leaders in the coalition movement when some of the groupings that were under General Olusegun Obasanjo, who was former president of Nigeria, came with his supporters to ADC. That was going back to 2017. So clearly, what is happening right now is many years of saying that you can't go to war with just troops. You need Air Force, you need Navy, you need all of these things. So we cannot govern this country with just us thinking this is the only way to do it. We need all these talents, groupings of capacities coming together. And this is where all Nigerians feel represented. Because in this coalition, everybody in the coalition speaks for somebody who is a Nigerian. There's somebody here who's representing the Eastern interest, Northern interest, South-South interest, Western interest. So this is really a coalition of Nigerians. And it is a movement, because all you need to do is go on WhatsApp. There are over 100 Lagos ADC groups already that we didn't create. People who used to be this have converted their WhatsApp groups to ADC. They used to be Obedience, they call themselves ADC. They used to be this, they call themselves ADC. And we see it as a movement. So we are now responding to them. We're not even providing leadership yet, because we're still doing mobilization. Then after the settling, then we will begin to unveil the way we're going to harmonize in order to move forward. And that's something that every general in one knows how to do.
Now, I'd like to bring Madam Mabel back into the conversation. I know we're having a national discussion here about the ADC, but I'd like us to bring it back home. And when I say home, to Lagos State, where you're the Director of Communications of the Lagos ADC chapter. Now, we just concluded local government elections in Lagos State. I would like to know your opinion on that. I also want to know if the ADC is really interested in putting out a formidable gubernatorial candidate to unseat the APC Lagos, because in our 26 years of uninterrupted democratic experience, it's been an APC government, even though it's metamorphosized from the days of Alliance of Democracy to what it is. It seems Lagos is almost guaranteed to produce an APC governor, regardless of what the situation on ground is. If you drive around the city, vast swathes of the city, in the night, it's darkness. It doesn't reflect the center of excellence the state claims to be. And with any little rainfall, streets are flooded, drainages are clogged, and come every other election season. Even with this, they swept all the local government elections. So it means the opposition in Lagos State is not really pulling its weight, despite the reality of ground.
Well, there's no question about it that the election that just took place was not free and fair election. And that has been going on. That's actually what Nigeria's problem is. But let's take Lagos. You find that all the local government, chairmen, they're all, selected. I wouldn't say, elected. People, mostly this particular election, they were not allowed to vote. I mean, you could see it everywhere. The news were carrying it. People were complaining. They went to the polling booths, but they were not allowed to, to vote. And there were this declaration. We actually have actually gotten it out there that we do not actually agree with what they have declared at the moment. And that's why, this coalition is taking place. Things are going to change. Come, 2027, we are going to see a change in Lagos. We're going to see a change in the way, we vote. And we're going to see, that, there's going to be a free and fair election in this, in this state. What is going on here, even in Nigeria, is appalling. And Lagos State is no exception. We have no democracy here, and it's a good thing that all the various political parties have come together or are coming together at the moment. It's a process, and we're getting there. Unfortunately, it just happened to be in, just during the time, that the election, took place. We didn't have any election. We just had selected, candidates and put, in position by the APC government.
All right, can you
Can even add to that is that as chairman of the state, even on your channel here, I'd already established the fact that we do not even agree that it's constitutionally right to have elections in local governments that the Supreme Court is still not very clearly agreeing with in terms of the 37 LCDs. So we have constantly pushed this narrative that get these LCDs to become local governments. Lagos needs 70 local governments. We don't have a problem with that. We have a problem with the fact that we can't endorse what we think is illegality by going to participate in it. So yes, we initially intended to have candidates and across all the local government, but that issue was not settled. It was only when Lycée called a meeting of political parties, they now told us that, oh, there's a new law that was signed in January. And it was just given to us on the eve of the meeting for the local government election. We said, oh, we were holding back because we wanted to be sure that we were not participating in an unofficial and illegal process that our party at the national will now tell us we're going to go to court to challenge it. Only for us to hear that nobody in Lagos was given any information of any law that was passed in the National State Assembly and that was assented to by the governor. And we only heard that one in April or May. And it was going to affect the election we're going to have. So if you talk to almost any political party in Lagos, they will tell you that it's been a painful process to prepare for this local government election. Information withheld, nomination forms not given out. Even when they were given out, people paid. They were not received. The documentation that was needed for the accreditation, they were telling people, go and bring them. Then they didn't let them come into the offices. There were lots of things wrong with the process. And that has been in the, in fact, IPAC did a press release on this matter. So we have a problem of not understanding that so far our democracy constitutes the right to vote for our dictator. We still haven't understood this, giving people the right to actually freely choose who they want and making the process free and fair. And that's what ADC now wants to change. That's exactly why I said you are going to see the evidence of internal democracy in ADC, where nobody is going to be imposed as a presidential candidate. Nobody's going to be imposed as a governorship candidate. The whole world, we are going to see the process in which we're going to get all these people through our primaries. And that is the example that we want the rest of the nation to see. Governance in action within the party, and then,
How do you prevent your primaries from becoming an auction? Because we've seen money politics play out in Nigeria, and that's what it seems to be. The highest bidder, we hear thousands of dollars being exchanged amongst delegates to vote for preferred candidate. What mechanisms does the ADC put in to avoid this? Because this is Nigeria, and politicians, being politicians, will certainly want to use monetary influence.
So, I can say that the last election in 2023, when we had the 2022 primaries, when we had the contested governorship primaries, I called the two candidates together and I said, what are the things that are required to make this fair and fair? And one of them said, we want to make sure all delegates, the party is in charge of bringing them to the place, not one candidate. And both agreed to fund it together. They said, okay, we're going to put equal amounts of money together, and the party can distribute it to all the
in terms of transportation.
In terms of the key thing usually is transportation and everything. And we did that just to ensure that nobody's buying the candidates, nobody's saying come. If there were underground deals that we do not know, of course, there's no way we can stop it. We can't know. We can't be going to people's houses to say, did somebody come to meet you to give you inducement? It is only when there's evidence that there's inducement that is contrary to a party's constitution that we can take action. But you cannot completely rule out the fact that in a political contest, there will be people who will sell their conscience. But what we are attempting to do as a party is to minimize the influence of it on the result by having umpires that are unbiased. Because the umpires really matter. By having a screening process to make sure the wrong people don't even appear as aspirants.
In the first place.
You know, even as aspirants. Then the delegate system is constitutional. We know for a fact that delegates to states primaries are usually so and so and so and so and so. And as long as they are in office, and they're the ones that are going there. And where there is evidence prior to the contest that somebody has violated the party's rules and regulations, then the committee in charge will take the appropriate action. Ordinarily, there is almost no way you can prevent people from having interests or interest groups, especially with this kind of coalition. Let me give a classic example. There are people who are coming to this coalition who are supporters of a particular candidate from the last election.
Absolutely.
Clearly, their passion is to support their people. They are not likely to be induced by the other party because that's why they came into the coalition. They came in because they wanted so-and-so to become president. And this is a perfect way to balance it out. It means now that if we have 5 groupings that came as part of the coalition, and each of them has a presidential candidate, none of them is going to receive inducement from the other. Because they came in to support their own candidate. And that's neutralizing everybody. All right, that's a good way to go forward.
Is still a member of the ADC?
He has not yet joined the ADC officially.
He hasn't joined officially?
He hasn't joined. I mean, it's clear that he's still in Labour Party. He has said it so many times. But that doesn't mean he won't join. Election is still 2 years.
Because there's a report about Kachikudu, maybe the 2023 presidential candidate of the ADC, stating that the whole ADC structure is set up for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
No. There's no such thing. You know, opinions are different from facts. You know, that's an opinion. Fact of the matter is that the people who are joining the ADC right now, the pioneers of the coalition movement tends to be the PDP. And that's why the presumption is, it is because he has already he has resigned. And he has therefore given the body language that, okay, those of you who are my followers in PDP, you know, let's move. So when Obi is ready to do the same, you're going to see the same. And so on and so forth with Rufai and Amici and all the people that have showed themselves already in the party at the national level. So they follow their leaders, which is part of why I said these are all experienced politicians, and they're going to neutralize each other when it comes to this sort of malfeasance.
But, okay, let me bring in Madam to join us very quickly on this question. Are you not in any way worried that some of those who have signaled interest in the ADC currently have been pointed or fingered to have caused a lot of economic challenges, especially for Nigerians in the previous administration, talking about the time of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari? And many have said that the ADC is like a landing ground for them to just jump in and try to win the sentiments of Nigerians again, because there's no way you would point the issues that Nigerians had to deal with under the former late president without having to mention some of their names, and now they're with the ADC. So, in other words, is the ADC looking like another PDP APC that we are seeing? Because it's the same people, same things they did before. What has really changed? As a communications person, how would you be able to clarify this? Because that's exactly what we see online. Nigerians are saying is the same old same.
No, this is, a very, common assumption by everyone, but you must understand that these people, they're actually interested in forming this coalition. Yes, they've been in previous government before, but now what is happening is we have a crucial problem in Nigeria. And we need leaders, and these are the leaders that have been there before. They've performed their various, roles in the past. But ADC, going to ADC as a platform, is also to use, the ideology of ADC, what we believe in, what we want. And I said earlier on that at the moment, we're all, speaking with the same voice. We want a common goal, that is to take back Nigeria. And this is actually from the ground to the top, from the top all the way to the middle, then down to the ground. People are hungry. Their facilities are not working. It's worse off than it's ever been, before. So it's expected that the people that are experienced to come together and lead the way. It's not as if, this is not going to be, a free and fair democratic way of selecting, the next set of leaders. But we need people with experience, to guide us, So, for example, we're not just going to pick someone that's not an administrator, for example, your job there now. They say, okay, you guys are not doing very well. And all of a sudden, they're just going to bring someone that has no experience to come do, your job. It's not going to be possible. We need people to groom others. And that is the process ADC is going to take. We're a people's government, believe in people's government, we're a people's party. And as the state chairman earlier said, everyone that's coming to ADC actually understands what ADC stands for. And no one is just going to come in and start changing things. What we want is the people with the experience to guide, the ones that are not experienced, to come out. There are people very, very qualified to do this job. You will get to see this when the time comes for people, with getting candidates. You will see that the due process that we're going to follow is going to bring the people, that you've never seen before, but that are qualified for the job, to come in. So this is just a temporary thing, that we're all seeing the old faces. Nothing has changed. It's not only Nigeria. If you take the West, you see the same thing. If you take, America, it's still the same thing, So we intend to follow the due process. But one thing for sure, at this early stage, people are going to talk, we just, say as an opinion, not fact.
All right.
But all the, worries of the citizens, that you and I are going to have, they're all going to be addressed. The most important thing is the people, they want a change. And that change we are ready to give. All we want is, for them to have confidence, in us, and we'll show them that this is the right way, to have democracy.
All right, maybe
as I said before,
thank you.
One thing we have in common, we have one voice in this very matter.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us regarding the ADC, where the ADC is, and where the rest of the country expects or should be expecting to see the ADC. Thank you for joining us, the Director of Communications, Lagos Chapter of the ADC, Mabel Obo, and the Chairman of the ADC in Lagos State, Mr. George Ashiru. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. All right, we're going to break now. When we come back, we have more conversations. Please stay with us.
The Nigerian Senate has issued a stern warning to suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan to stay away from the National Assembly following a recent statement where she announced that she will be back to the Senate on July the 22nd, citing a federal high court judgment delivered by Justice Binta Nyako. The judgment, she claims, reinstates her as a senator.
Let's break it down now. Senator Natasha was suspended for 6 months over alleged misconduct during plenary. Now she claims the said recent federal high court judgment gives her the green light to return, but the Senate says not so fast. According to Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu, the court ruling was merely advisory and not binding. Helping us to interpret what a court judgment is if it was advisory like they claim and not binding is lead counsel Robson Legal Osigwe Ahmed Momo. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Was that court judgment by Justice Binta Nyako, was it binding or advisory like they claim?
Yeah, it's definitely, well, it's quite tricky. To put a little bit of foundation, the challenge a lot of legal pundits are having here is that the judgment seemed to do by interlocutory means what ought to be done by permanent means. That sounds a little technical. Just to break it down, that seemed to be an interim or at least an interlocutory injunction that the courts ought to have given, but the wordings appear to be final. The difference between the interlocutory and the substantive or perpetual injunction seemed to be that if the matter started, the interlocutory injunction is one that ought to flow through when a substantive or a main matter is in court. So the court seemed to, from the judgment, seemed to have concluded the entirety of the matter from what ought to be a mere, interlocutory judgment. In other words, it ought to be a temporal relief to say, go back to your plenary, keep on, presiding over, keep on representing.
Mr. Okay, we seem to be, we will continue the conversation with Mr. Osigwe Ahmed Momo, but we have a clip we want you to pay attention to, so let's take a look at the video.
I have written to the Senate again, telling them that I'm resuming on the 22nd, which is on Tuesday by the special grace of God. I will be there to resume because the court did make a decision on that. Now, they argue that it's an order. It's not an order, but it is a decision. And if you look at section 318, I think, of the Nigerian Constitution, it did mention that a recommendation forms part of a decision of a court. So whether it's a recommendation, a judicial decree, a sentence, or an order, they are all decisions, and decisions are binding on every Nigerian and every authority and every institution. So I'm going to be there live to attend. But I also know that the Senate will be going on recess very soon, maybe most likely next week for 2 months. That means by the time the Senate resumes, my 6 months would have lapsed. And I will go back, I will resume. And yeah, I don't hope there'll be any more resistance because you can't apply you can't go against the, what is called double jeopardy rule, whereby you punish someone twice. So after the 6 months, you now go back to court or do extend or whatever, and that will amount total abuse of power, which of course I do sense an abuse of power already. But that's for the courts and the public to judge. But so far, my people are not missing anything. As a matter of fact, I think we're one of the luckiest constituents so far. There's been a whole lot going on. We're all happy. And I'm really connected to my people and Nigerians as usual as well. I'm grateful for the love and prayers.
All right, we have with us Osigwe Ahmed Momo, who's analyzing the judgment of the court. You were explaining the difference, why it's an interlocutory injunction of some sort, or whether it's an interlocutory injunction or a final one. Let's give you the floor to please go ahead with your analysis.
Oh, very well. So, first of all, the matter, I think they approach the courts with a fundamental right proceeding. And a fundamental right ought to, focus entirely on fundamental rights. I think it's tricky for a court to even entertain, this matter through fundamental right. Because, your right to be a senator is not a fundamental right, right? Fundamental rights are those rights that are captured in a particular chapter of the Constitution. Anything outside that is not a fundamental right.
Okay, to respond to that.
The court has a way of testing it.
To respond to that, can I maybe say that the fundamental right here would be the fundamental right of her constituents who have been deprived the right to representation at the Senate by virtue of the suspension that she was given.
Well, yeah, well, we can look at that, and then it will be the constituents who themselves will go on and say, well, you see, my fundamental right to be represented and heard have been denied, not necessarily that of the senator, right? And the court has a way of testing this. They test whether the substantive matter and the auxiliary matter, which of them is fundamental, right? Because sometimes your main grief, your main prayer may not be fundamental, but embedded in it may be some fundamental right issues like what you're looking into right now. And I think this is not the case. That was a strictly constitutional matter. It ought to have gone by originating some summons, and definitely not by a fundamental right application. That's my thought on that. But that's an aside. The point where many people have a little bit of confusion is as to whether this matter was brought by motion on notice, not an originating motion on notice. The trick here is that if it's an originating motion on, then the court can give a final judgment. But if it's an interlocutory or a motion on notice, which is asking for a temporal or interlocutory relief, because there are basically three kinds of injunction. One is interim by ex parte, a very short time, maybe 7 or 14 days, 7 days. Next is interlocutory, which is pending the substantive matter itself in court. Final one have to be the perpetual or substantive injunction. This matter appears to be that it was a matter that was interlocutory, yet it has the tone and the features and the semblance of a final
Mr. Momo.
Injunction. And I think that was definitely not the intention of even the person applying. Yes.
Mr. Momo, I mean, personally, like I always
Very
say,
well, I can hear you.
I mean, personally, like I always say, a lot of Nigerians may not understand interlocutory, this, that, those. I mean, let's just. The question everyone wants to know now, and I'm sure people watching the show this morning, simply is: one, is Senator Natasha supposed to return to the House tomorrow using what the court had said? It's either a yes, she can't, a no, she can't, because of this reason. I mean, let's just see how we can break it down to the simplest form, please.
So thank you very much for that. Yeah, and I get that part, and that's why we've seen a lot of sentiment and emotion in this matter, not necessarily facts, driving it, because I mean, these are mainly legal technicalities and all. Absolutely, I think once there's an order of the court, whether or not you agree, your first thought is to abide. It's not whether you agree with it, it's whether it's an order from the court, you ought to abide with it. And I think definitely the Senate ought, by every means necessary, abide by it, even if it's interlocutory, and seek further clarification. Whether in this is interlocutory, because interlocutory doesn't mean it shouldn't be answered. It should be answered pending. It means there's going to be a final one. You're not going to say, no, I don't agree with what the judge said, therefore, I'm going to run away from that. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Definitely, I think the senator ought to be definitely in the National Assembly tomorrow, representing our people until and unless that matter has been jettisoned or vacationed. I mean, vacated rather. That's the only time where she should, refrain from doing what the court have said. And it is going to be sad. The Senate President is a lawyer. There are several lawyers there. We have the Attorney General of this country who is a very sound lawyer. And I think this is not the time for them to keep on allowing the judgment of the court go without power and might.
Now, Mr. Momo, the Senate has also appealed this judgment. Does it mean that pending the determination of that appeal, that she can still resume? What are the implications of the appeal by the Senate?
Until there's a stay, and to the best of my knowledge, there's no stay. Until there is a direct order saying that judge order or the judgment from the court ought to be stayed, there's no to my that you have applied to appeal doesn't mean the judgment of the lower court has been vacated. That's not how it works. You only appeal while she's in the House. In any case, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose if on appeal they say, no, you're right, which I doubt that will likely happen, because even though the technicalities of the matter is quite difficult to digest, what the court was basically saying is that you can't push her out of the House for this number of times. Even if you can suspend her, you can't suspend in a way that is now offensive to common sense. In any way, how long is she supposed to represent the people constitutionally? And what is the amount of time you're suspending her? She married him, and she said, no, this doesn't make any sense. Of course, people are arguing you have delved too far. At best, there'll be, maybe a retrial, but I'm not thinking that it will be totally vacated. I don't think so. I think the Court of Appeal will always want to do substantive justice, and I think substantive justice, everybody will agree, whether or not your sentiment flow with the senator or not, is that she should go represent the people, the good people of Kogi Central, I think. And I completely, agree and understand the perspective of us not knowing if there's a stay of execution. If there hasn't been a stay of execution, what we refer to will be the last judgment in the matter. But those who argue that the judiciary, in this case, do not have the right to intermeddle within the affairs on the floor of the Senate because they say that Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan was suspended because of overreaching duties, maybe because of the seat allocation issue and matters that happened on the floor of the Senate. How would you respond to that? Well, I think, of course, there's clearly the duty of the courts to interpret every law, and every policy that was done, and every matter that was taken, any decision taken, even outside of the courtroom, ought to follow a certain principle, right? So, it's judicial, they ought to be the natural to sack your employee out there. The court can sit into it and say, no, this is not how you ought to do what you did. So definitely the court has duty to interpret and listen to this matter. The problem with this particular case is that there have been a multiplicity of matters, filed by the Senate President's wife, filed by the Senator, Natasha herself. Several of these matters are in, several cases, some arguing defamation, some arguing one matter or another. And I think in general, this has made it very difficult. So people are asking, what is exactly happening here? Which of these matters is taking precedence? There seem to be several parties, several matters seeking basically directly. It would be sweeter if it was consolidated in one case, in one court, and you follow them line by line and say, okay, this is what we are listening to now, and this has been a big distraction. I think the Senate doesn't necessarily vote suspension, or at least abridge the time. 6 months is definitely too much, and it's a denial of the people of Kogi Central, like you rightly said, their right to be heard, to be represented. I think that's something that the Senate didn't definitely put into consideration. It's simply a case of different explainers or explanation, especially of the law, and what we'll call explaining the rule of law interpretation. And that's exactly what we've seen. But I want to thank you so much for coming on board to break it down for us. Tomorrow is D-Day, so we're going to wait to see what will come out of tomorrow. But do you think, as a lawyer, do you think that Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan, who is equally one who understands the law, will actually make her way to the House tomorrow? If you could advise, what advice would you prefer? Yeah, I think so. I think I don't want to throw matters that are not necessary here, but I think there's been a lot of distraction, a lot of it from the senator herself, to be honest. She's a lawyer, I believe a fine one at that, and I feel like, she's said a lot of things, there's been a lot of distraction. We left from whether the Senate had the right to ask her to sit where to sit, to somebody's trying to rape me. There's been several of these allegations, many of them unsubstantiated, I may say, right? Many of them unsubstantiated, and they've been all in the air. A lot of people are running after sentiment, left, right, and center. I would advise that because these are the same people, they are the same class of people, politicians. I would advise they should go back and do the job that the tax-paying Nigerians are paying them to do, and stop distracting us with trivialities, with unnecessary distraction. There are a lot of hunger, a lot of frustration out there in Nigeria. And I don't have sympathy for any of them. Not the senator, not the Senate president, none of them. These are, for me, they are birds of the same feathers, right? They are not fighting over the need or the desire of the ordinary Nigerian man. They are basically throwing muzzles and flexing. So I'm not one of those people who have sentiment on Senator Natasha. Absolutely not. And I don't even have for the Senate president. I think they are birds of the same stock. I feel like the political class are really alienating the people. day by day. We see it, we experience it. As a practicing lawyer, you hear matters day in, day out. You're like, come on, we need to we need to be better as a country. So I think they should stop distracting us with their trivialities, focus on the matters that, we are paying them to do. And yeah, that would be my advice. And I think the Senate generally ought to come in this time and cancel or rescind their decision and take out the time from the court. The court should be listening and dealing with better matters, yeah? There are pressing matters that are begging the court to attend to. We are finding it hard to have dates, and we're using dates to entertain trivialities like this. I think this is a big distraction, completely unnecessary in my opinion.
All right, lead counsel.
Tax-paying Naira shouldn't go for this. Yeah, they should fund it with their Naira. They should pay this because at the end of the day, you are wasting the Nigerian Naira on this matter that makes no sense in my opinion.
All right.
It's sad.
All right. Lead counsel, Robson Legal, Osigwe Ahmed Momo. Thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to tomorrow when she steps her foot into the National Assembly.
Thank you so
what will
much
happen.
for your time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I was just wondering why the Senate is going on another recess for 2 months. It has to be one of the best jobs in the country. I mean, they gave themselves a whole week to mourn the passing of
1 week.
Late President Buhari, and then they resume tomorrow, and then proceed on 2 month recess with all the issues
on ground
that
called summer break.
that we're facing in the country.
Because a number of them, their families need to go on summer vacation, and we don't want to separate the families. They have to be together.
They are working very hard, and you wonder why they would do anything to ensure they get on that seat. I mean, sitting allowance is there. Even though we still struggle to know what their salary is.
But they need to. They need that break. They need that recess because to come up with laws that will move our country forward, you need a cool head. You need a summer breeze.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, joining message to those who will be traveling for summer holidays. We pray that they will go and come back safely. Let's now go on a quick break and share with you what's coming up next on Breakfast Central, even as we bring you the breakfast headlines.
Thanks for staying with us here on Breakfast Central. This is Breakfast Headlines. Let's give you a quick update on some of the biggest stories. Let's begin with the Nigerian police force, where the police force acknowledgement of the ongoing conversations over a planned peaceful protest by retired officers demanding improved pension entitlements has indeed come to the fore. The force noted that while many concerns are legitimate, some narratives have been distorted to discredit the government and the police leadership. It maintained that the agitation to exit the contributory pension scheme has persisted for over a decade and lies beyond the powers of the Inspector General. Police authorities, however, said alternative welfare strategies are underway, including the use of internally generated revenue and private sector support. The protest is scheduled to hold today, July 21, in the FCT and other states where due notice has been given. Well, earlier, the organizer of the planned protest, Omoyole Showoreni, had this to say.
Protest was actually organized and planned and publicized by police officers, both serving and retired. And they contacted us that they would need our support. They actually sought our support, and we decided to support and give them the best possible help we can regarding their quest for better conditions of service and a life of retirement that is worthy of living. So they chose the date, but I agree with you that I'm very involved in ensuring that it's a major success. This is not something that should be debated. You just read a press release by the Nigerian Police Force, and admitted and considered that conversations have been going on for a decade. So apparently they have been having conversations with retirees. They have also had several meetings with the retirees. There's just no solid commitment to solving the problem. That is why the protests have become necessary, inevitable going forward at this time. So it's not a conflict that requires those measures you have mentioned. It's a conflict about the existence of serving and retired policemen and their relatives, families, and the society at large that's use the services of these policemen to protect itself.
Medical Association has warned of a nationwide strike if the federal government fails to meet its demands before the July 23 deadline. NMA President Professor Bala Audu said the association is prepared to act decisively if its demands are ignored. The ultimatum was issued over a circular by the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, revising allowances for federal medical and dental officers, terms the doctors say breach earlier agreement. Well, away from that, the senators told suspended lawmaker Senator Natasha Akpoti-Udoha to stay away from its proceedings, insisting she cannot resume duties just yet. Senate spokesperson Yemi Adaramodu, in a statement on Sunday, maintained that no court order currently mandates her recall before the end of a suspension. Akpoti-Udoha was suspended in March 2025 following a confrontation with Senate President Godswill Akpabio, whom she accused of sexual misconduct, an allegation Akpabio denied. She recently announced plans to resume legislative duties on Tuesday, July 22nd, citing the Federal High Court ruling by Justice Binta Nyako. But Adaramodu insisted that the judgment contained no binding directive and merely offered an advisory, urging the Senate to consider amending its standing orders and reviewing the suspension. The crisis rocking the Social Democratic Party may be far from over, as a disciplinary committee set up to investigate allegations of financial misconduct has now submitted its report to the party's National Working Committee. The probe, which followed the suspension of National Chairman and 2 other top party officials, has revealed that only 1 of the 3 accused appeared before the panel. The 5-member disciplinary panel, inaugurated on July 4, was tasked with investigating allegations of financial misconduct and breach of the party's constitution involving over 1 billion naira.
All members of the committee, personal staff of the suspended national chairman, contractors, and the external auditor were invited in the interest of natural justice and fair hearing. It is noteworthy that is the only suspended national auditor that honored the invitation amongst the 3 allegedly accused persons. Drawing from the statements, interactions, and the documents, the committee made some findings and far-reaching recommendations. It is hoped that the party will implement the recommendations with a view to position the party to effectively and efficiently perform its functions.
Members of the National Working Committee were part of those that even appeared before the committee. Some appeared and stayed for almost 2-3 hours. And I want to assure you, the committee are here to testify. There was never a time that while the committee are doing their assignment that we even peeped into talk less of trying to interfere in any respect.
It is not about the people who were suspended. It is not about some of our own staff who had multiple accounts. Okay? Staff that earned less than 100,000 naira per month, but had 27 accounts. Not that. But how this will not happen again, and how...
In Morocco, thousands of people have rallied in Rabat, demanding an end to the war in Gaza and the reversal of Morocco's normalization deal with Israel. Protesters filled the city center, waving Palestinian flags and chanting slogans such as "Lift the blockade" and "No to normalization." The demonstration, organized by a coalition of Islamist and left-wing groups, highlights growing public anger over the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Ils viennent ici manifester, c'est pour dénoncer et faire en sorte que les choses changent positivement, dans le bon sens, que la communauté internationale prenne conscience de ça et agisse avec des actions concrètes.
على الأقل وأضعف الإيمان أن الحضور هذا الحضور ديالنا تلبية للنداء ديال يعني إخواننا يعني المجوعين، إخواننا اللي كيموتوا، الأطفال اللي كيموتوا في غزة، وضد سياسة التجويع اللي كيمارسوا عليهم الصهاينة.
الحق احنا جينا باش نساندوا الإخوان ديالنا اللي في فلسطين اللي مجوعين ومحاصرين، نساندوهم بطريقة اللي هي سلمية حضارية، لازم نوصلوا الرسالة ديالنا للفلسطينيين بأن احنا معاهم دائما.
And that's all on Breakfast Headlines. Don't forget to catch the news in full bulletin at 12 later today. Breakfast Central continues. The front pages of the newspapers is up next. Make sure you call in after the break.
Once again, our doctors at breaking point. The Nigerian Medical Association has given the federal government a 21-day ultimatum demanding that agreements be honored and fair treatment restored. Why? Because a circular from the Salaries and Wages Commission has violated previous deals and insulted our frontline health workers. Let's be clear, our doctors are not asking for favors. They're only demanding dignity, respect, the bare minimum to serve this country without being broken in the process. Our doctors are not asking for luxury. They're demanding fairness, dignity, a chance to serve without being treated like disposable tools in a system that constantly betrays them. And our doctors fight for basic compensation. As our doctors, rather, fight for basic compensation, former President Muhammad Buhari just died, not in Nigeria, but in a private clinic in London. This is the same man who ran our health system for 8 years, yet in the end trusted no Nigerian hospital with his life. But Buhari wasn't the first. President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua died in a Saudi hospital. 2 presidents, both of them sick, both unable or unwilling to be treated in the very country they led. What message does this send to the rest of us? Now, contrast this with Ghana. Professor John Atta Mills died in the 47 military hospital in Accra, Ghana. Jerry Rawlings too. Their leaders stayed and died with dignity in their homeland. Our escape, every year we lose hundreds of doctors to the UK, Canada, Saudi Arabia, countries that value them. Here we offer them power outages during surgery, broken CT scanners, unpaid salaries, and now circulars that spit on the little progress they fought for. This isn't just failure, this is betrayal. We train the best doctors, but we can't keep them. Our leaders budget billions for medical tourism, yet refuse to fix a single hospital. They govern a system they don't use and abandon the people they sought to serve. We must demand better for our doctors, for our patients, for ourselves. Because until we fix our healthcare system, not just for the poor, but for everyone, Nigeria remains on life support. Good morning, Nigerians.
Such an intense monologue there by Gbenga Aborowa. Thank you very much for that. Let's now segue into the newspaper reviews this morning. And joining us is journalist and public affairs analyst Habib Aruna. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank
you look like you had a very nice weekend.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
I can tell.
Busy and
enjoyable.
One begalo.
Enjoyment.
Life is only one, so
enjoy yourself.
Make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make hay with the newspapers and get right into our first paper, the
What
Nigerian.
did you say? We should make hay while for the newspaper. Hey. Okay. Johansson started this. But it's an in-house thing. You understand. We'll explain to you later.
You people, the both of you. something is. Management and HR need to establish a team that can be analyzing certain people before they go on air. Nigerian Tribune, Tinubu Bakari revealed Aujale's role in June 12th formation of APC. Withdraw threats. Apologize to Obi. Falana tells Edo Governor. Okpebholo says security protocols must be followed. Senate to Natasha, stay away from National Assembly. Vessels incur losses as debris litter Nigerian waterways. Nelfund loans to students hit 77 billion naira in 1 year. Tough choices for CBN over interest rates. Retired officers protest. Ensure peaceful conduct. Security, IGP tells CPs. Too many stories. Maybe we should start with the Obi one. I don't know if you've seen the video of Senator Monday Okpebholo.
Good story.
Yeah?
Fantastic story in Tribune.
Yes. So, you know, there's a video of him complaining about Peter Obi visiting the state. There's a video of the APC chairman in Edo State saying that there's a general hatred for Obi, including him. And, you know, all the grievance is that Obi came to the state without the permission of the governor. Does Obi need permission or approval of the governor to visit Edo State?
And you can see the reactions that trail that uncultured and unmagnifying statement. Very uncharitable, indeed. You know, and I am from Edo State, but I've never from day one believed in the capacity of the man that is in charge now. You know, I even wrote an article to support Hasue Ighodalo as a better candidate. And what we are seeing manifesting in Edo State, that kind of a measured statement from the government of the state and his co-traveler, deputy chairman, validates what I said, you know, that these people in charge of Edo State are not capable.
Sir, I'm glad you mentioned the APC chairman.
How can you be telling in Nigeria, not even the person and the personality of Obi, former governor of Lagos, former governor of Anambra State, a former presidential candidate, a very famous politician, who are telling you not to come to your state. Which state? Does he know the state?
Now, their argument is that when he went to other states like Benue and Plateau State, he wrote, so he didn't give them that respect. We spoke to a special advisor on legal matters this morning.
I don't think. If you listen to the position of Femi Falana, another top legal minds, you know, I don't think Nigeria need any permission to visit any state in the country. The constitution permits us, gave us the freedom of movement in Nigeria. Be it a politician, be it who you are. I was in Osun State during the weekend. You know, I didn't need permission of Adeleke. You know, so
you're not a political
No. That's why I said these people are not. They don't mention their statement. You know, before you speak, before you say that kind of thing, ask your advisors. I don't know the right thing. You know, you consult people that you appointed who can advise you. Because I don't think he has the capacity on his own. You know, to know what is going, to do the right thing.
Their argument or their response, in fact, we had Andrew join us this morning, and he said after all, Obi did the same thing in 2013 to El-Rufai, something that Obi has clarified. But let's hear from Chukwuma calling from Anambra State. Good morning, Chukwuma. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead. Oof. Chukwuma, please call back. We want to hear from you. Okay.
From Anambra State.
Yes.
So I wanted to take you up on what, since we're happy to have a citizen of Edo State here. Even though to get to Olis Village, you have to pass through Edo State. Yes, I want to ask you the question. The APC chairman said Edo citizens hate Mr. Peter Obi. He used the word hate. Yeah. How do you respond to that? You're a citizen of Edo State. Do you hate? Is the APC chairman speaking for you?
That is a trash. Doesn't know what he's talking about. A political figure talking like that. That is kind of people that you see in Modugu terrain in Edo State. And it's unfortunate. The state that produced the best characters that you can find. Oshiomhole, Obaseki, Ambosali,
Abi
Baruna. Yes. You know, according to you. I'm a general politician. But I'm a past citizen of Edo State. You see, these things, these guys need to be called to order. And I'm sure they've been able to situate their statement in a contest, which people did not still believe that was tied. You know, so I think if I governor, now what this man, I think we're trying to follow what this man did in Benue State. Even though that one did not come out to say Obi should not come. He only said,
I cannot guarantee
which
is the same thing he said. But Oshiomhole, whom you've named as one of the, you know, elites and the quality politicians that Edo State has produced, endorsed Okpebholo. Do you think he will also endorse?
No, Oshiomhole is the godfather of the governor. What do you expect?
So,
you know, they're all embattled in the wake of the earpiece saga. These people are just, and thank God Nigerians are awake.
Okay,
Nigerians are animated by what is going on in social media. And they contribute adequately, so they can't take us for a ride.
Let's hear from Uche. Uche is calling from Abia State. Good morning, Uche. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. I don't know whether we are learning lessons here. Whether politicians are learning lessons. If the past administration made a mistake, does it mean that the present one will, you know, do the same thing? In Kogi State, they started it that other political parties will not come to campaign. The same thing with Wike in River State. These people of, you know, of the same character. What we are learning from it is, if PDP did the same thing, does it mean that the APC will repeat the same thing? Are we making progress in this country? That is my question. Telling somebody not to visit your state. Will you be a governor forever? Governor of Edo State will not be a governor forever. Maybe after these 4 years, maybe they will give him another 4 years, which is 8 years. 8 years of governor, you won't be a governor again. Another person, they should stop this, politics of bitterness. Let them stop it, so that this country will move forward. For me, what they are doing, they will hit up the policy. I don't know what 2027 is going to look like. It's a pity. God bless you people.
Thank you, Uche, for calling
Thank
and
you.
sharing your thoughts about that.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's put back up the Nigerian Tribune newspaper again so that our viewers can see the stories. And if there's anyone that you'd like to react to.
Don't forget that what the governor said is basically political.
Right.
It's political. Most of these people are afraid of Obi and his ghost. Yes, man is really popular. And don't want to forget that the last election, not the elections, Obi won landslide in Edo State. And yes, some of the results were doctored, but Obi is very really popular in Edo State. So you can understand where the government is coming from. The governor and his people are afraid that if you allow Obi to come to their state, Labour Party and another party that Obi represent took over their state. So they should wake up. What will save them in that state is good governance, which we are not saying.
Okay. Just to also highlight some of the comments about this on YouTube, I just want to take one. This is someone who was reacting earlier to the interview we had with Andrew Mwata talking about this same matter. He says, Barrister, this is from African Lawyers. He says, Barrister Mwata, you are a sound lawyer and you gave a good clarification on the real issues. Obi should learn to do the right thing next time. Leadership comes with responsibility. Anyway, let's move on from there to the next story about Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Now, their argument is that she shouldn't resume at the Senate because the judgment given by the court is advisory and not binding.
This is very, very laughable. In a normal country, where this country is a system of laws, Nigeria should be a country of laws. When the judgment is given, before you even appeal, obey.
Especially when there hasn't been a stay of execution.
Who is interpreting towards the judgment? Is it the National Assembly? Is it the Senate? Or the party? Who is interpreting for us? We all know that the judge said mistake Natasha. Then the Senate, as a body that is full of people that are dignifying, you recall this woman back. They appeal. Very simple. You don't ask yourself, why are they afraid of this woman? The woman said she will return. And they're not saying that she's not welcome. And the judgment is, I don't understand. You are a lawyer. When you give a judgment, I was thinking, because the only way we can move forward in this country is when we respect court judgment. When the judiciary is independent. No country can move forward in this time and age if the judiciary is not independent and there is no rule of law. The rule of law is supreme. Whether it's Akpabio, whether it's what do you call your name again? Your name again?
Aborowa.
Or my humble self. You must obey it.
Okay.
So saying that you should not come, I don't understand. Who is interpreting?
Okay, let's hear from Dixon. Maybe Dixon can help us with the interpretation. Good morning, Dixon. Thank you for calling from Lagos. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to be connected to your good program.
Nice to hear from you as well.
Thank you.
Yes, it is a high time some of our leaders should, step up. They should step up and be doing the needful. I'm from the Igbo tribe. If Mr. Obi needs to, get approval from the sitting governor to visit his state, he has to do so, if it is what the law says. Considering his, personality, he has to do so. You understand? It is the right thing for a leader like him to do. Whereby it is not, that is when I will begin to blame the governor. Do you understand what I'm saying, man?
Yes, completely.
So, I would say that it is the right time our leaders should start doing the right things. start doing the right thing. The governor should do the right thing. The visitors should do the right thing. The right thing should be done in Nigeria. They go to US, they go to UK, they fly all over the world. Why don't they bring the democracy they have been there into Nigeria so that Nigeria can move forward? Why can't they bring the good things they are seeing there into Nigeria so that we can move forward?
All right.
Instead of talking like people who are not educated, people who are not exposed. Should we be talking about safety of a personality like Obi visiting a brother in Edo State? That should be guaranteed 100%. You understand?
All right. Dixon, thank you for contributing and sharing your thoughts. He's saying that if that's the procedure, Obi should follow the law. When we had Andrew, so Andrew Nwata had
that stipulates that Obi must inform the government of any state he's visiting. So I think it's only tidy for Obi put up his stature and personality in the society.
So maybe morally,
the police. Okay. They can give him security, not the government of the state. Let's put it in perspective, please. To inform the governor he's coming to the state for what? For his own security, he can inform the police. So the police is not providing with security.
As a TV personality, as an exposed personality. Next time I visit Okpebholo State,
so inform the governor.
You have to inform him.
Okay. You can still let us know your thoughts. And we're streaming live on YouTube, News Central TV Live. I'll take a few comments regarding this story or any of the stories that you see on the front pages that you'd like to react to. We've spoken about Peter Obi and the alleged threat by Senator Monday Okpebholo. There have been calls for an apology, but it doesn't look like an apology is underway.
Take a comment, and then there's a story on the Tribune.
Yes, please go ahead with that.
Okay, please, can we have the Tribune newspaper? It's about waterways. Vessels incur losses as debris litters Nigerian waterways. The entire southern coast of Nigeria is
very important story.
Atlantic Ocean.
Very important. But before we take that story, seeing as we're talking about Edo State, we have a call from Benin. We have from Austin. Let's hear from Austin. Good morning, Austin. They say you people hate Peter Obi. Is it true?
Thank you very much. I'm coming from Benin. On behalf of my brother sitting there and all the Edo people, want to apologize to Mr. Peter Obi because Edo is not a state where we are known for tribalism. Edo State is the #1 obedient state in Nigeria. Obi got over 300,000 votes in the last presidential election. That is a testament to his popularity in Edo State. We stand for justice. We stand for what is right. The government made a heavy blunder, which we are not proud of, and we reject it in totality, everything he said. Obi is very welcome in Edo State. In fact, we are looking forward to his visit. And let it be stated that he is a private citizen. He does not need any permission to come to the state. And he came for a good cause. He donated money. And we don't understand why such a good gesture should be leading to jealousy from our greedy politicians. The people that came to visit did not complain. They were ecstatic. They were happy. In fact, I was not even happy that I couldn't make it to see him physically. He came on privately and left privately. So that is what should be condoned. Not what this nonsense that our politicians are doing. God bless you all.
Sorry, Austin, before you get off the call, I just want... Are you still there?
He's off.
Oh, he's
anyway.
off. Okay, but
you have a question.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he said his mind.
Correct.
Okay.
Benga, waterways.
Yes, can we go back to the headline of the Tribune, the Nigerian waterways story? Vessels incur losses as debris litters Nigerian waterways. Who's in charge of the waterways and who should be responsible for cleaning it? And a lot of Nigerians also think, the oceans and the water bodies are just a natural place for you to dispose of waste. I also want to talk of something that is happening in Lagos State. One of the slogans of Lagos State is also, after Center of Excellence, they say State of Aquatic Splendor. Our governor was in Monaco yesterday, Monaco, city of rich, in France, to watch the E1 boat racing championships. As we speak, if you go to Agungi and many parts of Lagos State, they need to do water competition, canoe or regatta, We can do a mini Argungun festival there.
They've been doing it before.
If you drive on the Lekki Epe Express Road, it's no longer, it's almost like the government is telling people to do your worst. What's your insult? That artery of road, what's the worst you can do? That artery of road is very, very important. It's riddled with potholes. I know how many people have lost tires. This year alone, I've lost 2 tires. I
almost lost one this morning.
So
almost.
This is a big
ditch just at that Gungi. There's a big hole.
That hole has been there for years.
That hole has been there for years.
To open up
local
again.
government chairman. We have a representative in the Federal House of Representatives.
They are watching and listening.
We have state legislators that apply that road. An important road like that. Vast areas of the island. I'm not even going around Lagos. Places that used to be guaranteed, you know, in newspaper they write Highbrow, Victoria Island, Lagos, Highbrow, Ikoyi. They're in darkness, pothole riddled. And our governor is in Monaco. You know, he was with Tom Brady and LeBron James. That Nigeria is going to host the first E1 championships in Africa using this same road. Same road. So even in December, during the dirty December, that we generated quite a huge amount of money.
We always
tourism. It was still in darkness. And what is it that Lagos State government is on break?
No.
Why are they not responding to the plight? People are complaining bitterly.
I think we are overstretching it. The government is doing its best within its own capacity, within its own budget, you know, to provide these things in the state. You know, I cannot speak for someone. I can only speak for my Oga. Remember the way we were there. You know, if Oga,
so how does the system work? Who takes the blame?
Well, I wouldn't judge, but I think they can do more.
Taxpayers need them to do this
better. For example, the roads are not good enough. The
street lights, it's a public health issue, a life and death.
The place is chaotic. Okpebholo and all these small buses, they've taken over the road. They control the road now. They don't obey traffic rules or traffic lights. So those are the things that government should do. But you know, I think they're doing their best, in my opinion.
Their best is not enough.
I did my best.
But it's not enough. It's not enough. Let's go to the other paper very quickly. I'd like us to go to Daily Trust.
Matthew is calling for Plateau. Hello, Matthew. Good morning. Please go ahead. Hello, Matthew.
Yeah. Good morning, News Central.
Good morning.
Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, News Central.
Thank you. Daily Dose.
Yeah. Please, I watch your program every day because I think you are making a wonderful contribution to the
national development
journalistic space in Nigeria.
Thank you.
What I want to talk about is this matter of Obi's visit to Edo State.
That's like the biggest story.
The thing is this, we have to be frank with ourselves. I don't know why Nigerians like bending the truth. The truth of the matter is this, Obi is not just an ordinary man. Obi is was the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last election. He got over 6 million votes. That made him to be a unique individual. And right now, he is the central figure of the obedient movement, which is headquartered in Benin City. Let's be frank, what the chairman of the APC was saying was nothing, it was so far from the truth. Edo State was obedient in 2023 and they are still obedient. I have no political bias, but what I want to say is this. As an ambassador and a diplomat before, I want to tell you people, it is very, very important that somebody with the caliber of Obi going to any state, anywhere, he should let the chief security officer of that state know about his presence so that adequate security can be made for him. Right now, the government of Edo State is fighting cultism. They were everywhere when Obi was there. Suppose there was a stray bullet or there are something happened untold to Obi. Do you know the problem that we bring to Nigeria as a whole? Don't be said, oh, they have harmed Obi, and all that. So what I'm saying, let's face the truth. If Obi, with his caliber, being the hope of the masses of this country, is going anywhere, please let him tell the sitting governor. I still remember the same thing happened with Obaseki when Oshomole used to come to Edo State anyhow without telling the sitting governor. That is disrespect. We must face the truth. Having said that, I must tell you that yes, Section 33 of the amended Constitution of Nigeria says we have freedom of movement. Also, Section 14(2)(b) says the same thing. Even the African Charter in Article 4 says the same thing, movement, yes. But Obi is not just like me and you, a two-time governor, a presidential candidate who defeated the sitting president now in Abuja and Lagos. Is not an ordinary person. We love him, and please, his security is of paramount importance to Nigerians. Let's say the truth and do the right thing. Thank you, New Central, for hearing my voice.
Thank you. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, so is this Mr. Matthew Orogide calling?
Mr. Matthew?
Your surname. I was trying to get your surname.
No.
Okay.
I am Matthew Waifo.
Waifo, okay. Okay, all right. Thank you for your call. Thank you. Okay, yes. Thank you. I wanted to clarify that. Thank you so much. Thank you for your thoughts.
Mr. Matthew Waifo, similar to the guitar man, Mr.
Victor Waifo. I was thinking that in my head.
If you see him, all it's okay is this is Monday morning. Let's respect ourselves.
Let's not Friday.
Please manage them. I try to manage them most times. And I understand that we have to loosen up because of the stories. You know, there's a mental health advocacy that we're pushing on New Central Breakfast.
What Mr. Matthew said, do you agree with what he has said?
No, I don't. You see.
But is it not risky for you to be moving around without...
With this one, it's not true.
No, he's made provisions for his own security.
Now, Obi is a very big personality in Nigeria. Obi, we need to inform the police commissioner, not the governor of the state. And not just in case of any breach of security.
But what if it's not approved? Because we know how politics
what we are saying is just political. What the governor is doing, an deputy chairman, they are just being political. You know, that is their opinion politically. But Obi needs to inform, if Obi did not inform the CP of the state, that would be wrong.
Okay.
For his own, not for anything, permission to come inside, but for his own safety and security.
Okay.
And for his, in case of any breach of security. That is it. Not informing the governor for permission with the state. I don't think so.
All right. Okay. Let's quickly look at some papers very quickly. Let's go to, I'd like us to go to, not Daily Trust, let's go to The Guardian. The Guardian is the last paper we're going to look at because we're almost running out of time. The Guardian has very interesting stories there. Edo Benue governors under fire over threat to Obi, page 3. That's like one of the biggest stories there. NBA proposes changes to Electoral Act once Beavers IREV legalized. That's what they're saying. Ifa Council to sue Ogun government over Awujale's burial. Well, let's leave that away. There's this big story there on the front page. MPC caught in rate cut trade-offs as banks demand CRR review. We're going to leave that to Business Edge, so you can join them at 11, where they will break it down. But I think the story we should take is the one I want you to look at. It says, EERC revises Band A tariff from 209 to 160 naira per kilowatt. I just saw that Anambra as well has reviewed the tariff of Band A. It's reduced. So
all right,
let's take a
That's a great one. But before we, react to that great news, we have a call coming in. Good morning. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Alaji Hassan Mohammed in Daraji. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
I think in every rightful democratic person, people should be allowed to air their views, and people should be allowed to choose whatever they want. But I think, unfortunately, the current government of APC under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have allowed his appointees to use the instruments of government by abusing processes. The judiciary, the INEC, the police, the army, the navy, and everything. And every function or outcome or situation is predetermined even before the matter being presented. And you see them carrying out Obita maybe some interloper in issues that they are not party. In the cases where you ask for tea, they give you tea and sugar. What are we doing as a people? Where a serving governor will come out and be making a clear threat to an individual that has the same rights with him. I think it is very sad and unfortunate. If the president did not do a very strong warning statement against all those doing this, I think we will believe that they are doing this based on his instructions. So I think we should allow the opposition to try. Let us test our strength at the poll, not by coming to gag people into believing that you don't have power to do to this or you don't have. So I think Nigerians are watching and we are waiting. The earlier the president changes the place, the better for us to have a good governance. It is time for governance, not time for politicking. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your call. All right, let's go to the tariff. Bande, cut down.
Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission.
But yes. Is it decentralized?
No.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Can the state decide on its own how much people should pay? People will pay for light. Can they decide?
I think they should be able to, because I mean they're allowed to generate their own electricity.
No, they're trying to do that. I don't think it's been this thing there has been already implemented.
I think so.
I think it has.
Yes, because the electricity generation, like I think that was
removed from Let me take the story here.
Okay,
the Enugu State Electricity Regulatory Commission has issued a new tariff to Main Power Electricity Distribution Company, utility that succeeded Enugu Electricity Distribution Company for electricity distribution in the state, reviewing electricity costs for Band A from 209 kilowatts per hour to. I'm sounding like that governor that could not.
It's okay. It's okay. Manage.
Please help me.
They've just jumped to the next paragraph.
Okay, let's jump to the next paragraph.
Or you want us to call for a break?
So no. Okay. The Commission's order, tariff order for Main Power Distribution Limited 2025 was issued by the Commission over the weekend. It said the decision was cost reflective, insisting that the tariff must reflect the power generation subsidy by the federal government for the benefit of electricity consumers. This is a electricity regulatory commission that is very hands-on and responsive to government directives and all that. So it's good for the people of bottom line. But we need to confirm.
Yes. We need to confirm if it's. But I don't think it's decentralized yet. I think it's just peculiar to that state. I've also seen one that talks about Anambra as well. So we're seeing these changes come up. Hopefully, it will equally spread to other states. Even though we heard that the subsidy being paid on electricity is high, it's very high.
My friend is the SA Media.
Okay.
The Minister of Power.
Okay.
You see, if they remove the subsidy the government is paying, Nigerians will pay a lot for electricity. And the minister has been saying consistently that this thing is not sustainable. So I only hope that there'll be some discussion on it, and see how it can be resolved. But people like us who are in Bande, they are paying so much. I pay about 50,000 naira every week. And about 300,000 naira every week. My business. Yes. 50K in my house, but 300,000.
Weekly?
Every month. But 50K every week.
I'm always scared. But what if you switch off? What if you switch off a few things?
And I'm still using AC in my room. And I'm still paying 50K. But my children will use.
What TV? The fridge has to be on all the time.
So it's not funny. So if it's reduced,
and just to redeem my image, the KWH is kilowatts per hour.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. I mean, I was trying
I was a bit tight-tongued there.
Anyway, that's all that we have this morning on the newspaper review and on Breakfast Central. We're ending this morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to have you.
And
thanks to all the callers.
And I'd like to wish my very good friend, Oliver and I had an interview with him so many years ago. He's a champion, he's a survivor. He survived an accident.
Yes,
they had to amputate his right hand, if I'm not mistaken. Happy birthday, Iwi Ugodala.
Happy birthday, Iwi. We love you.
Have a fantastic day. He used to be known as the Lionel Messi of Monkey Post. when we used to play Monkey Post. He was so good.
He is one of the happiest people you would ever meet.
Yeah, I love him so much.
Having his hand amputated, wearing prosthetics, and then they would sign on it. You know, I think when he came to the office, I think I signed
And the reason why that even happened is Nigeria. Like they say, we should stop saying Nigeria happened to people. The healthcare system in Nigeria, emergency response system failed him.
Okay, I also want to quickly say this as quickly as possible, that I want to use this opportunity to honor publicly and celebrate Pastor Femi Oshunoye, my pastor, who also just turned a year older. Happy birthday, sir. This is how we wrap up the show. Thank you for joining us. We're back
I also want to use this opportunity.
Allow me to finish shouting out to my pastor without shouting out.
To say thank you for watching.
Okay.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Our director could use this opportunity. You might have wanted to wish his.
You can cut off because we'll still be
happy birthday. Oh my goodness.
Back
We're
to
back tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful
Let's also
day.
use your.
Bye-bye.